Chapter 636. Wu Maji had given birth? Yang Dingtian was immediately immersed in the good news. In the end, Vulture, who was outside, suddenly walked in. She stared at Yang Dingnan and said word by word, "Yang Dingnan, don't be complacent. It's still too early to talk about winning or losing." Then she turned around and left. As a result, Yang Dingtian's mood was slightly spoiled. Wu Yuming went to meet Ling Wu personally. "I'm sorry." This was the first sentence he said when he saw Ling Wu. Ling Wu said, "Do you know about the sins of the 7 refined lane?" Wu Yuming shook his head and said, "I don't know. However, I know that the relationship between Lingxi and second Madame Gongsun isn't clean." Ling Wu said, "Then what about you?" "I have a clear conscience," Wu Yuming said. Ling Wu asked, "Then what's your objective?" "A new balance. To prevent the entire world from completely falling into Yang Dingtian's ambitions." Wu Yuming stared at Ling Wu and said word by word, "It's true that I don't want the world to be plunged into misery and suffering. It's true that I want to save the world." Ling Wu said, "Did you believe it when the newspapers wrote about the scandal of the 7 refined lane?" Wu Yuming said, "I believed it. Because since Yang Dingtian is confident, it must be true. Therefore I left. Because I can't place righteousness before family. However, I also don't want to help the evildoer." Ling Wu said, "Then why are you here now?" Wu Yuming said, "I'm here to admit defeat to Yang Dingtian and beg for mercy." "Admit defeat and beg for mercy?" Ling Wu trembled. How proud was Wu Yuming? For him to admit defeat and beg for mercy was even more unbearable than death. Then, Ling Wu said in disbelief, "Why do you have to admit defeat and beg for mercy? First Madame Gongsun deserved to die. However, there are many women in the 7 refined lane who are innocent. I can't sit by and watch them get defiled and die. Of course, there's also you and Lingxi." Wu Yuming said, "Lingxi killed Gongsun Ernyang, it's almost unforgivable. But if you want to punish someone, it should be the ancestor, not Yang Dingtian. Is he really the one who killed second sister?" Ling Wu asked. "Yes, I asked him. He killed them." Wu Yuming said, "I won't cover up for anyone who does something wrong. No one had done anything wrong, so they shouldn't even think about being tainted." "Ling Wu, why are you so weak and weak?" Ling Wu's beautiful face trembled. "Silly girl, did you do something wrong?" Wu Yuming said, "It was my idea for you to join the 7 refined lane. Did you enter to enjoy the glory and riches? No, you're just going to expose Yang Dingtian's true colors and attack his dictatorship. That's right, the 7 refined lane is so filthy and evil that it's beyond our imagination. But while the 7 refined lane is filthy, you're clean. Your third sister is also clean. If everyone in the 7 refined lane is filthy, then Yang Dingtian's wife, Dugufeng Wu, had once impersonated third Lady Gongsun. Could it be that she's filthy too?" Wu Yuming continued with a sigh, "Girl, you shouldn't be so sad and depressed. You should still be proud because you didn't do anything wrong. You're innocent." Immediately, the gaze in Ling Wu's eyes became more and more focused. "That's right, I'm innocent. I'm innocent. I can still be proud." Ling Wu straightened her back and raised her head immediately. Then Ling Wu said, "Big brother Wu, how much did you pay to save us?" Wu Yuming's face twitched. "There wasn't much. I just cooperated with Yang Dingtian in seizing power in the central continent and made the 5 forces led by the Vulture Palace sign the Defensive Zone Agreement and the agreement to establish the Council of Light Corps." Ling Wu's heart trembled as tears streamed down her face. "It's not worth it. You're not worth it. You should have let him kill me." Wu Yuming said, "No, you're innocent. You're innocent. You're proud and pure. Your life shouldn't end like this. You'll be punished with 30 lashes. This is Yang Dingtian deliberately humiliating you. But when you're being punished, please raise your head. You have to straighten your back, hold your head high, and stick out your chest at all times." "I will," Ling Wu said resolutely with tears in her eyes. "Little Tian, did Wu Yuming compromise?" Dongfang Minmi asked. "Yes, he compromised," Yang Dingtian said. In fact, on the surface, his compromise seemed to be in exchange for Lingxi's life. But in fact, this was the price to pay for being implicated by the 7 refined lane. He clearly knew that the arrow had been shot and couldn't be retracted. The four forces led by the Mausoleum of Emperors didn't sign the reorganization agreement. We'll directly use military force to conquer them. At that time, the Vulture Palace would only have two choices: start a war or sit back and watch. But they didn't want either of these two choices. Dongfang Minmi said, "If the four forces of the Mausoleum of Emperors didn't compromise, what would you do?" "Conquer them with military force." Yang Dingtian said bluntly, "We'll use all of our forces. Those who submit will prosper and those who oppose will perish. We'll directly eliminate them." "Then what if the Vulture Palace joins the war?" Dongfang Minmi asked. "The Vulture Palace won't join the war. Purely in terms of military strength, the Vulture Palace and the Netherworld Sea won't be a match for our Council of Light," Yang Dingtian said. "Then what if they use their martial strength?" "They have two demi-saints," Dongfang Minmi said. "Then I can only go to the grasslands of Dongli to invite Queen Hai Exin, the Temple of Blood to invite father-in-law Dugu Shao, and martial uncle Zhu Qingzhu," Yang Dingtian said. "These three people might not be willing to directly face the strongest forces of the evil ways. But they might be willing to fight against the Vulture Palace and the Netherworld Sea." That's right. During negotiations, Wu Yuming was much more decisive than Yang Dingtian. But if they were caught in a dilemma, Yang Dingtian would definitely not compromise, even if it meant starting a war. And if they really started a war, Yang Dingtian would really invite Queen Hai Exin, Dugu Shao, and Zhu Qingzhu, the three top experts. Although the chances of winning were still not high, they could deal a devastating blow to the Netherworld Sea and the Vulture Palace. In the end, he didn't expect that Wu Yuming would be so straightforward as to directly agree. "Little Tian, this is the first time you've won an all-around victory against Wu Yuming, right?" Dongfang Minmi said. "Yes," Yang Dingtian said. "Little Tian, in the previous battles between you and Wu Yuming, he hit your weak spot every time. He won every time, and you didn't have the slightest ability to fight back. But after the Tiando League conference, he lost his composure and lost again. Do you know why?" Dongfang Minmi said. Yang Dingtian said, "He cherishes his reputation too much. He uses his reputation as a weapon. As for me, I don't care about my reputation. Of course, the most important thing is that he had always been hiding behind the scenes to plot against me. Evil Ways and Zhu Qingzhu were the ones at the front. But now that these two people have been defeated, Wu Yuming has no choice but to jump onto the stage personally. It's much harder to be in front of the stage than behind the scenes." That's right. Hiding behind the scenes and plotting against others isn't considered a skill. If the formidable ones jump onto the stage and be watched by countless eyes, they will realize that it's not that easy to fight. Dongfang Minmi said, "You're standing on the ground, while Wu Yuming is floating high in the air. It used to be an advantage. But now, it has become his biggest restriction." Soon, the five forces, led by the Vulture Palace, signed the Defensive Zone Agreement and the Establishment Agreement of the Council of Light Corps respectively. The most important step in the reorganization of the Central Continent had finally been taken. Immediately after, in front of everyone, hundreds of people from the Seven Refined Lane were beheaded in front of everyone with irrefutable evidence of their crimes. And Ling Wu was the one who was lightly punished. She was whipped in front of everyone. The sharp whip viciously lashed at her delicate body. Ling Wu gritted her teeth and bled. She stared fixedly at Yang Dingtian's position. The flames in her eyes grew fiercer and fiercer. From the beginning to the end, she didn't let out a single scream. In the end, when she was badly mutilated and fainted, her mouth was already full of blood. Then, she was carried down by the Vulture and taken away directly. The Vulture personally applied medicine on Ling Wu's wounds and served her personally. As for Wu Yuming, she stood motionless in the study room. This was the second time. The second time, Yang Dingtian gave him a great humiliation. The first time, it was merely a humiliation on the surface of his face. And the second time, it was a pain that penetrated to the bone. The reason why he only appeared after so many days was because he went to the Sea of the Netherworld once again. He wasn't willing to compromise with Yang Dingtian. He was prepared to use force to coerce him. If there was really no other choice, he would start a war directly. However, his mother refused. Immediately after, Wulingzi also refused. Therefore, he had no choice but to grit his teeth and swallow his blood. He then looked for Yang Dingtian and made a compromise. Wulingzi had said that he shouldn't fuss over a momentary loss. The key was the duel a few months later. At that time, it would truly be the winner taking all. Yang Dingtian, just you wait. On the day of the duel, I will return today's humiliation tenfold, 100-fold. Wu Yuming said word by word from the bottom of her throat. At this moment, Vulture was comforting Ling Wu as he spoke words of resentment. Hearing Vulture's voice, Wu Yuming frowned tightly and revealed an angry expression. Qin Ji's words had already reached his ears. Vulture had long known about the ambiguous relationship between Qin Ji and Yang Dingtian. However, he didn't tell Wu Yuming. If he had told her, the 7 refined lane wouldn't have lost this duel. At least, they wouldn't have lost so miserably. Therefore, the reason why Wu Yuming lost this time was largely because of his wife, Vulture. However, Wu Yuming didn't say a word. He buried everything in his heart. Right at this moment, a voice suddenly sounded from outside. Reporting to young Lord, Qin Ji has come to visit. Wu Yuming's face twitched. Qin Ji was practically the main culprit for his failure this time. Taking a deep breath, Wu Yuming said gently, "Let her in." Qin Ji was meticulous and charming as she bowed towards Wu Yuming. "I'm Qin Ji. Greetings to young Lord Wu Yuming." Wu Yuming smiled. "Greetings, Miss Qin. Do you have any instructions for me?" "I, Qin Ji, am the main culprit for the 7 refined lane incident this time." "Young Lord Wu, you won't hate me, right?" Qin Ji asked. "Of course not." Wu Yuming said, "Miss Qin is a spy in the dark. You've worked hard to expose the truth about the 7 refined lane. I can't thank you enough." "That's good." Qin Ji smiled. "I also admire young Lord Wu's magnanimity." "Oh right, actually your wife, Miss Vulture, knows about the complicated and ambiguous relationship between Yang Dingtian and I, didn't he tell you?" Qin Ji was here to slap his face in public. Wu Yuming's face twitched. Vulture is a simple-minded person. It's normal that he didn't see through your complicated relationship. "So he didn't tell her?" Qin Ji asked. "Yes," Wu Yuming said. "Then maybe I know the reason." Qin Ji said, "Actually, it's because I have something on her, so she's always been afraid to face me." "Oh, is that so?" Wu Yuming said casually, "I don't care about something on her. If Miss Qin Ji doesn't have anything else to say, I'm going to rest." "Your wife, Vulture, has been played by me before. We've slept together," Qin Ji said. Wu Yuming's gaze trembled. He smiled and said, "Miss Qin Ji, you're joking. Besides, even if it's true, it's normal for girls to talk in bed. You know that what I said has a deeper meaning." Qin Ji said, "That's not all. The real thing that I have on her is that she has been intimate with Yang Dingtian. Maybe it's because of curiosity, or maybe it's because of other reasons. She took advantage of Yang Dingtian's coma in the secret territory and did a lot of private things that you can't imagine." Suddenly, Wu Yuming's face turned cold. The muscles on his face trembled. "Okay, Miss Qin Ji, I don't want to listen to you anymore. Please leave. You don't want to listen to me about the shameless things that she did? Then I'll take my leave." Qin Ji smiled and left. "Yang Dingtian, I just told Wu Yuming that Qin Ji secretly did a lot of unspeakable private things to you when you were unconscious." Qin Ji's first sentence when she saw Yang Dingtian made Yang Dingtian jump. "What did she do?" Yang Dingtian asked in horror. "What else could it be?" Qin Ji glanced at Yang Dingtian's private part charmingly and stuck out her small tongue. "Are you crazy? Do you want to die? Are you tired of living?" Yang Dingtian grabbed her arm and said hoarsely, "Madam, you're really tired of living." Qin Ji laughed and said, "But it's really hard to keep this secret in my heart. If I say it, Wu Yuming will be so angry that he vomits blood. It's best if he falls out with Vulture." "How interesting would that be?" "It's interesting, but it's also interesting that you're courting death like this." Yang Dingtian said angrily, "I'm not afraid of death." Qin Ji said indifferently, "If worst comes to worst, Wu Yuming can kill me. If not, I don't care if he kills me after I explode." Yang Dingtian was completely speechless. This perverted woman didn't even care about killing him after he explodes. What else could she care about? This crazy woman would do anything to make herself happy. Then Yang Dingtian thought of something and said, Then what you said to Wu Yuming, is it true? Vulture had an affair with you? Qin Ji said, It's half true and half false. It's enough as long as it can anger Wu Yuming to death. This person is so suspicious, he will definitely believe it. If I tell you that Shimin Yen Yen has been touched by another man, will you believe it? Yang Dingnan hit Qin Ji's head hard and said, Don't taint Yen Yen, but I don't believe it. Yes, then it's settled. Qin Ji said, Rumors don't stop with a wise man. It's he who is willing to believe it. However, at that time, Shimin Yen Yen was really almost touched by that bastard. She was tied up and couldn't move. Unfortunately, Shimin Ju stopped him. It's really a pity. The bastard in Qin Ji's mouth was naturally Qin Xiaobai, which was the original him. Yang Dingtong was so angered by this woman that his mouth was dry. He walked to his seat and sat down. He poured himself a cup of tea and drank it in one gulp. Qin Ji leisurely walked over and was about to sit on Yang Dingtian's lap. He jumped in fright and quickly moved away, saying, If you have something to say, say it. Don't scare me. Master, you said that as long as I help you, you will give the 7 refined lane to me. Qin Ji used a frivolous tone and said sweetly, Don't imitate the words of a brothel lady. Yang Dingtian said, Sigh, actually, I'm really conflicted. Qin Ji sighed and said, On one hand, I'm really curious about the lives of those women who sell their bodies. I really want to try it. On the other hand, I want to preserve my chastity for someone. Yang Dingtian almost spat out a mouthful of blood. No one had ever said that it was interesting to receive customers as a prostitute. This crazy woman in front of him was definitely an accident. Alright, let's not stray from the topic. Do you keep your promise to me? Qin Ji asked. Yang Dingtian said solemnly, There are still many innocent women in the 7 refined lane. Most of them are orphans. Once the 7 refined lane falls, they have nowhere else to go. I can hand these women over to you. Then, you can become a pure artistic and performing group. You can truly realize your artistic strength and turn these women into a group of noble and beautiful people. You're so nice. Qin Ji said, Then, should we let them receive customers? Yang Dingtian couldn't take it anymore. He hit her head hard again and said, Receive customers, receive customers. You only know how to receive customers. You have to make sure they are clean. If they are willing to marry, you have to let them marry off with their chastity. All right then. Qin Ji used her strength to block the head that Yang Dingtian hit and said, Then we have to change the name. What should we call it? Jade Cattail Lane? Char House? Howding Court? Yang Dingtian couldn't take it anymore and left. Talking to this crazy woman would definitely shorten his life. The reorganization of the central continent had officially begun. As for Yang Dingtian, he first went south to see Wu Maji and his precious twins. Then he immediately set off for the Ghost Netherland. He wanted to break through to the Great Grandmaster realm in less than 2 months. Then he could compete with Wu Yuming of the Vulture sect for the Ghost Fire of the Netherworld. Wu Maji sent someone to inform him that she had given birth. Undoubtedly, she wanted him to see the children. This might be a small breakthrough for their relationship. Yang Dingtian rode the Demon Vulture King and went south directly. But he didn't expect that before he left, the Vulture actually sent an invitation to Yang Dingtian. Wulingzi invited him to the Vulture Palace. When he left the central continent, Yang Dingtian still hadn't decided whether to go to the Vulture Palace or not. When he passed over the Emperor's Mausoleum Island, a middle-aged woman who was so white that she didn't look human suddenly stopped Yang Dingtian. This woman should be from the Emperor's Mausoleum? As expected of someone who lived in the mausoleum for a long time. She looked more like a ghost than a human. Excuse me, are you Yang Dingnan? The woman asked. That's me. Yang Dingtian said. My master invites you to the Emperor's Mausoleum for a chat. The woman said. But I'm very busy. I don't have time. Yang Dingtian said. It's only a few hours. The woman said, It's about the Ghost Fire of the Netherworld. Chapter 637. Yang Dingtian landed on the Imperial Mausoleum Island. This island was about a few hundred miles. The island was filled with dense forests and a huge mountain. This middle-aged woman brought Yang Dingtian to a lake in the middle of the island, and then jumped into the middle of the lake. Yang Dingtian also jumped in, and then followed behind the woman, diving down. After diving down for a few thousand meters, they suddenly saw a ferocious and mighty giant pincer stone sculpture. The middle-aged woman drilled into the mouth of this giant pincer and continued to go deeper. Yang Dingtian also followed in. This giant pincer's mouth was an entrance, followed by a long tunnel. Finally, they swam to the end of the tunnel and rushed out of the water. In front of them was a gloomy underground palace. Countless fireflies danced, and the night pearls on the walls emitted sparkling light. This was the Imperial Mausoleum. "Your Excellency Yang Dingtian, please follow me," the middle-aged woman said. Then, the woman continued to lead the way in front. This was really an incomparably huge maze. There were coffins everywhere, secret rooms everywhere, and mechanisms everywhere. Moreover, even if he remembered the way, it was useless because the intersections here were constantly changing. This was indeed a mausoleum left behind from ancient times. It was just that this imperial mausoleum was too deserted. From beginning to end, Yang Dingtian did not see many people at all. Arriving in front of a stone door, the middle-aged woman said softly, "Please wait a moment." Then she stepped forward and gently knocked on the door. Swoosh! The huge stone door opened, revealing a huge stone room inside. Inside the stone room, it was incomparably simple and crude. There were a few stone coffins, and then there was a stone table, stone bench, stone bed, and stone box. Apart from that, there was nothing, not even a mirror. At this time, a woman was sitting on the stone bench. She was elegant and peerless, delicate and delicate. Her white clothes were whiter than snow, quiet and cold. "Are you President Yang Dingtian?" The woman said. "Yes." Yang Dingtian said, "I am the master of the Imperial Mausoleum, Dishi Bien." The woman said. Yang Dingtian was shocked. When he heard the name Dishi Bien, he always thought that it was a formidable man. Who would have thought that it was actually an elegant and peerless woman? Furthermore, she looked so weak that she would be blown away by the wind. Yang Dingtian bowed and said, "Yang Dingtian greets Master Dishi." Dishi Bien responded, and then fell into a long silence. Then, the two fell into a long and awkward silence. Perhaps because she had been silent for too long, she did not know how to communicate with peoples. "May I ask where is Senior Mingkong?" Yang Dingtian inquired. He was just trying to find a topic to talk about. This was because he only knew one person from the mausoleum of the Supreme Emperor. She was Elder Mingkong, whom he had met during the Heavenly Law Union Conference. Naturally, she was on Wu Yoming's side. "I don't know," Dishi Bien said. Yang Dingtian was stunned. As the master of the Imperial Mausoleum, how could he not know where his own elder was? Elder Mingkong is not a member of the Imperial Mausoleum. She was sent by the Vulture Palace to represent the Imperial Mausoleum in all kinds of public occasions. Of course, she is also responsible for delivering daily necessities to the Imperial Mausoleum. Dishi Bien said. Yang Dingtian couldn't help but ask, "May I ask, Master Dishi Bien, how many people are there in the Imperial Mausoleum?" Dishi Bien said, "2, right in front of you." Yang Dingtian was shocked. Just 2 people? Yang Dingtian was greatly shocked. The Imperial Mausoleum was a mysterious sect, second only to the Vulture Palace, and ranked 5th among the 9 sections. Earlier, when the Imperial Mausoleum's leader in Zhongjing officially announced that they refused to sign the Defense Zone Agreement, Yang Dingtian was prepared to send hundreds of thousands of troops to conquer them. In the end, there were only 2 people. Elder Mingkong, who was in charge of foreign affairs, was sent by the Vulture Palace. No wonder the Imperial Mausoleum ignored Zhu Qingzhu's attack on Zhongzhou State. Because there were only 2 people, if they were sent to help, there would be no one at home. Suddenly Yang Dingtian thought of a name, Ancient Tomb Sect. Then he thought of another name, Xiaolongnu. Of course, the woman in front of him seemed to be older than Xiaolongnu. But 200 years ago, how did the imperial mausoleum enter the 9 sects? Yang Dingtian vaguely remembered that the master of the imperial mausoleum, Dishi Luo, was very powerful. In the Tiando League, he seemed to be second only to Nihility Piaoling. He made great contributions in the world-destroying war, so the imperial mausoleum was also included in the 9 sections. Yang Dingan had to break the silence again. May I ask, why is Master Dishi Bien looking for me? Dishi Bien said, for the netherworld ghost fire. Yang Dingan said, please speak. Dishi Bien said, 200 years ago, my ancestor Dishi Luo and Willingzi were best friends, and they went to look for the netherworld ghost fire together. In the end, Willingzi begged my ancestor to give him the netherworld ghost fire. The two drew lots, and Willingzi won, so the netherworld ghost fire was his. Then, the two agreed that the netherworld ghost fire that bloomed 200 years later would belong to the imperial mausoleum. Yang Dingtian said, I remember others said that your ancestor's cultivation was not as good as Willingzi's, so she did not get the netherworld ghost fire. Dishi Bien said, my ancestor was already a grandmaster at that time, and she got the Yin fire of the million-spirit demon fire. Yang Dingtan was astonished and said, million-spirit demon flame? Then 2 years ago, when the million-spirit demon fire bloomed, why didn't you go to get it? Dishi Bien said, I was going to go, but my mother passed away. Yang Dingan said, I'm sorry for your loss. Dishi Bien said, it's nothing. Yang Dingan said, you came to me this time to ask, do you want this netherworld ghost fire? Dishi Bien said, yes. Yang Dingan said, then will Willingzi of the Vulture Palace give it up? Dishi Bien said, he went back on his word and wanted to give the netherworld ghost fire to the vulture. Yang Dingtian was silent for a long time, and said, Lord Dishi Bien, I want to respect the bet between you and Willingzi. I already have 2 or 3 mystic fires, so I shouldn't be greedy. But in a few months, I will have a duel with Wu Yuming. It concerns my life and death, and also the future of the Council of Light, so I'm sorry. Dishi Bien said, then it's fine. Then, Dishi Bien said to the middle-aged woman, Aunt Lung, send the guest out. Yang Dingan was stunned. It was that simple. She didn't refute, nor was she angry. She didn't even say a word. She just said, oh? Sir Yang Dingtan, please. Aunt Lung said and then walked out. Yang Dingtian couldn't help but walk outside. The stone door closed, and in the large stone room, there was only Dishi Bien and a few coffins. Then, Yang Dingtian vaguely heard a cough coming from inside. Aunt Lung led Yang Dingtian out. When they reached the exit, the middle-aged woman suddenly turned around and knelt down. What are you doing? Please get up. Yang Dingtian said. Not only did Aunt Lung not get up, she kept kowtowing. Sect Master Yang, please show mercy. Aunt Lung said, this netherworld ghost flame is related to my family's young lady's life. Sect Master Yang, please show mercy. Why do you say so? Yang Dingtian asked. My family's young lady has 9 Yin Shen meridians. After she became an adult, she was tortured by Yin fire and won't live for long. Only after swallowing the netherworld ghost flame can she survive. Aunt Lung said, of course, there is another way, which is to merge Yin and Yang with a man. However, my family's young lady has 9 Yin Shen meridians, 1 in a billion. It's impossible to find a man with 9 Yang Shen meridians. Suddenly, Yang Dingtian's heart jumped. This Dishi Bien actually has 9 Yin Shen meridians? After Yang Dingtian came to the primal chaos world, he had never seen anyone with 9 Yin or 9 Yang Shen meridians. Even Dongfang Bingling's #1 talent only had extreme Yin Shen meridians. Moreover, there was one more thing, Yang Dingtian had 9 Yang Shen meridians. Also, even if you find a man with 9 Yang Shen meridians, it's useless. My family's young lady has mysophobia and is unwilling to touch anyone. Even if she dies, she won't get close to a man. Aunt Lung said, therefore, this netherworld ghost flame is her only life-saving thing. Once she dies, the ancient Dishi clan will be completely extinct. Yang Dingtian was shocked and said, the Dishi clan is from the ancient world. Aunt Lung said, yes, before the ancient world was destroyed. The Dishi clan soaked their most talented clansmen in the unfreezing holy water, hoping to revive them after the calamity. In the end, after the calamity, less than 1 in 10 clansmen who were soaked in the unfreezing holy water survived. After thousands of years, only the young lady is left. The rest have all entered the coffin. Yang Dingtian was really shocked. The Dishi clan was actually an ancient clan, the same as the Nihility clan. However, the Nihility clan only accepted disciples, while the Dishi clan was actually a bloodline descendant. No wonder Dishi Luo was so powerful, second only to the Nihility Piao Ling. Then how old is your young lady? Yang Dingtian asked. 28. Antling said. Yang Dingtian couldn't help but recall her face and figure. Although her figure was slim and graceful like a willow, it was still very thin. How is her cultivation? Yang Dingtian asked. 4-star Grandmaster. Antling said. Yang Dingtian was shocked. What? Nanny? 28 years old? 4-star Grandmaster? This is crazy. With this cultivation, Dongfang Bingling and Yang Dingtian before the demonization were no match for her. Although Wu Yoming's cultivation was higher, he didn't know how old she was, and without a doubt, she didn't cultivate normally, so she couldn't be compared to Dishi Bian. My young lady, in 1,000 years, is the only one with 9 meridians in the Dishi clan. Antling said, 3 years ago, she broke through to the Grandmaster realm. Then did she swallow any mystic flame? Yang Dingtian asked. Antling said, Then did she go to any secret realm? Yang Dingtian asked. No, she never left the Imperial Mausoleum and never went to the surface. Antling said. Yang Dingtian felt his teeth turn cold. Look at her, look at her. She cultivated under the Imperial Mausoleum since young, without any fortuitous encounters, no mystic flame, and no secret realm. She cultivated to the Grandmaster realm before the age of 25. In the chaotic world, Yang Dingtian saw for the first time someone who was more talented than him, and also the first person who created more miracles than him. He immediately closed his eyes slowly. If this Dishi Bian swallowed the netherworld ghost flame, what kind of breakthrough would her cultivation have? Yang Dingtian could almost believe that within a few years, she would be able to break through to the half-saint realm. If she were to stand on his side, how powerful would that be? When the world-ending war arrives in the future. On his side, he was probably the only one who could break through to the half-saint realm. Although Naga Shuang was invincible in the world, the time she took to grow was too long. Evil Ways had at least 3 half-saints, or even 4 or 5. They were simply too weak. Yang Dingtian bowed deeply to Antling and said, Please tell your lady that I will consider it. Antling kowtowed deeply and said, Thank you, Sect Master Yang. Yang Dingtian left the Imperial Mausoleum, rushed out of the water, flew into the sky, rode on the Devil Eagle, and continued to fly south. After leaving, Yang Dingtian could not help but turn back to look at the Imperial Mausoleum. This trip took less than 2 hours. It seemed calm, but in reality, it was a stormy sea. Yang Dingtian really did not expect that there was actually an ancient family living here, a family as ancient as the Void family. Moreover, a top genius lived here. A 28-year-old 4-star Grandmaster, it was truly shocking. Yang Dingtian kept flying south. Soon he arrived at the southern barbarian continent, where the Vulture Palace was located. Originally, Yang Dingtian did not plan to enter the Vulture Palace and meet Wolingzi. But after meeting Dishi Bian, he decided to meet Wolingzi. Yang Dingtian flew into the southern barbarian continent. Soon he flew into the huge black fog. Countless black vultures surged over and surrounded Yang Dingtian. Yang Dingtian was riding on the Devil Eagle King. After seeing these countless black vultures, not only did the Devil Eagle King not have the slightest fear, but it was arrogant and provocative. It flapped its wings and scraped past countless black vultures. Soon, he flew out of the black fog guarded by countless black vultures and entered the fairyland-like Vulture Palace. Lingxi led 3 people to ride the white crane to welcome Yang Dingtian and flew towards the 10,000-meter lonely mountain where Wolingzi lived. Throughout the entire process, Lingxi did not say a word. Only his gaze was cold and incomparably sinister. Yang Dingtian did not get down from the Devil Eagle to walk this time. Instead, he prepared to fly directly to the lonely mountain. Get down from the mount and walk up, Lingxi said coldly. Or else. Yang Dingtian said. Or else. Your legs can't walk, it's useless even if they grow. We'll chop them off for you, Lingxi said coldly, then slowly pulled out his sharp sword. Then, the three people behind him also pulled out their sharp swords. With just you guys? Yang Dingtian said disdainfully and opened his palm. Devil Spirit Demon Fire Immobilization Art. In an instant, Lingxi Trio was completely unable to move. From the mystic meridians to the body, everything was imprisoned. Yang Dingtian gently took Lingxi's sword and threw it down the mountain. He said indifferently, Lingxi, you can't do it anymore. Don't seek your own death by provoking me. Finished talking, Yang Dingtian flew straight to the top of the mountain. Landing at the top of the mountain, Yang Dingtian got down from the Devil Eagle King, walked into the thatched hut, and bowed deeply toward Wulingzi. Junior Yang Dingtian kowtows in salute to Senior Wulingzi. Even though he was rude to Lingxi, even though he hated Wulingzi in his heart, Yang Dingtian was still very polite. A scholar who has been away for 3 days must be seen in a new light. Wulingzi said with a gentle smile, of all the people in the world, you surprise me the most. I misjudged him. Yang Dingtian bowed and said, I dare not. May I ask, Senior, what did you call this junior here for? 2 things. The first is the Netherworld Ghost Fire. The second is Dishi Bien. Wulingzi said. Chapter 638. One was the Netherworld Ghost Flame, and the other was Dishi Bien. Perhaps these 2 matters could be considered one. Yang Dingtian, you are the only outsider who has entered the Imperial Mausoleum in the past few decades. Can you be trusted? Wulingzi asked. Yang Dingtian nodded. So, I haven't seen that girl Dishi Bien either. Wulingzi said, she should be very, very outstanding. Yang Dingen, extremely outstanding, the most outstanding person I have ever seen. My talent is already outstanding, and I have experienced countless fortuitous encounters, but my cultivation is not as good as hers. Before Dongfang Bingling was demonized, she was much worse. Although Wu Yoming's cultivation is higher than hers, she is obviously much older. Not to mention, her fortuitous encounters and treasures are more abundant than mine. So now, among the young people in the world, no one is her match. In the near future, she will surpass Wu Yoming, and even surpass you. Yes, 9 meridians. Wulingzi said, I don't know how many years it has been since I last saw them. 9 meridians means breaking through to the Martial Saint realm. Of course, she has to survive first. By the way, why did she ask you to enter the Imperial Mausoleum? Yang Ding, she told me that her ancestor, Dishi Luo, had an agreement with you. The Netherworld Ghost Flame 200 years ago belonged to you. Now, this Netherworld Ghost Flame will belong to the Imperial Mausoleum, and she is the only descendant of the Imperial Mausoleum. So, she wants me to give up the Netherworld Ghost Flame. Did you agree? Wulingzi asked. I didn't agree. Yang Dingen, because this Netherworld Ghost Flame is very important to me. Why is Senior Wulingzi looking for me? Is it also to ask me to give up the Netherworld Ghost Flame? No, of course not. Wulingzi said, because you can't get it at all even if you don't give it up. Yang Ding, then why are you looking for me? Is it to mediate the conflict between you and Dishi Bien? No, that doesn't concern you either. Wulingzi said, back then, Dishi Luo and I were bosom friends, and she had done me a great favor. Therefore, in the past 100 years, I have been protecting the Imperial Mausoleum, not allowing anyone to disturb it. Then why are you looking for me? Yang Dingtian asked. You have 9 yang profound veins? Wulingzi asked. Why do you say that? I don't think I mentioned it before, Yang Dingtian said. Wu had once explored your body. Wulingzi said, recently, Wu Yuming lost to you. She passed the news to me. Of course, she didn't tell Wu Yuming. Yes, I have the 9 yang profound veins. Yang Dingtian secretly circulated his profound qi, preparing to become invisible at any time and then escape without a trace. Don't worry, even if you have 9 yang xian veins, I won't kill you. Wulingzi said, I can't kill you either. I asked you to come here to ask you for a favor. What's the matter? Yang Dingtian asked. I know that Dishi Luo is being tortured by the Yin fire and will not live for long. If you want to save her, first, you have to devour the netherworld ghost flame, and second, you have to choose a man with 9 yang profound veins to fuse Yin and Yang. Wu Lingzi said, but it just so happens that the little last spirit vulture has the talent to become a celestial spirit master that is hard to come by even in a few hundred years. She doesn't have much use for other mystical flames. Only the netherworld ghost flame can give her a qualitative leap, do you know? Although Spirit Vulture is far from being your match, once she swallows the netherworld ghost flame, in a very, very short period of time, her battle strength will not be inferior to yours. She will be able to summon tens of thousands of souls to fight for her. So, you went back on your agreement with Dishi Luo. You don't want to give the netherworld ghost flame to Dishi Bien, but to Vulture. Yang Dingtian said. Yes, that's right. Wolingzi said. Then it seems that your friendship with Dishi Luo is not that deep. Yang Dingtian said with sarcasm. Every man for himself, and the devil takes the hindmost. Wolingzi said. Now, I want to save Dishi Bien and give the netherworld ghost flame to Vulture. What should I do? Let me marry Dishi Bien? Yang Dingtian asked. Wolingzi said, although I have never seen Dishi Bien, she is definitely a great beauty, and she has 9 Yin profound veins. She and you are a match made in heaven. My suggestion is of great benefit to you, me and her. What do you think? I think you have overlooked something. Yang Dingtian said, first of all, I also want the netherworld ghost flame. No, you can't get it, that's for sure. Wolingzi said lightly. Secondly, I don't have the right to prevent Dishi Bien from getting the netherworld ghost flame. Yang Dingtian said. Of course, she won't be able to get it. She is very strong, just like you are very strong, but now you are not strong enough. Wolingzi said, I just want to save her, so I want her to marry you. This is beneficial to both of you. Of course I am willing. Yang Dingtian said with a smile, I am not so hypocritical. If marrying a woman can save her life, why wouldn't I do it? Not to mention she is a great beauty. But she won't be willing. She has extreme misophobia and doesn't want to touch anyone. So, you are really thinking too much. Is that so? That's a pity. Wolingzi said. Senior, is there anything else? Yang Dingtian asked. Think about what I said again. Wolingzi said, then I won't see you out. Yang Dingtian got up and left. In front of him, he immediately saw the angry rhinoceros. He had yet to speak. Shame on you, kneel and face the wall. Wolingzi's voice came from inside. Then, with a flick of his sleeve, he sent Rhinoceros flying. Rhinoceros knelt on the ground, looking coldly at Yang Dingtian. Yang Dingtian, remember this. This time, I will also go to find the netherworld ghost flame for Vulture. Don't let us see you, remember? Otherwise, you will regret it. Yang Dingtian suddenly said with a faint smile, then Rhinoceros, you remember this too. Don't let me see you alone, or I will kill you. Remember this. You dare? Rhinoceros sneered. Your ancestor heard what I said. Do you think I dare not? Yang Dingtian said blandly. Inside, Wolingzi didn't make any sound. On the way out of Vulture Palace, Yang Dingtian suddenly understood. Wolingzi didn't want Yang Dingtian and Dishi Bien to copulate to save her life. Instead, he wanted to find out if there was a possibility for the two of them to fuse their yin and yang. His purpose was to prevent Yang Dingtian and Dishi Bien from copulating. Because the 9 yang and 9 yin meridians were the most important condition for becoming a martial saint. Yang Dingtian was already enough for Wolingzi to suffer. And now, Vulture Palace and Dishi clan were about to fall out. Yang Dingtian naturally didn't want Yang Dingtian and Dishi clan to be entangled. Wolingzi, this old thief, kept saying that he wanted to save Dishi Bien, but in fact he wanted her to be burned alive by the Yin fire. As a half-saint, he stood at the top of the pyramid in this world. Therefore he didn't want anyone to surpass him. He couldn't kill Yang Ding, and he couldn't even kill Dishi Bien. Therefore he wanted Dishi Bien to be burned alive by the Yin fire. Old thief, you want Dishi Bien to die, but I won't let you do as you wish. Immediately, Yang Dingtian returned to the Imperial Mausoleum Island. Under Antling's guidance, Yang Dingtian entered the Imperial Mausoleum again. In the lonely stone room, he saw the cold and beautiful Dishibian. At this time, Yang Dingtian carefully looked at Dishibian's face. Without a doubt, this was the most exquisite face in the world. This degree of exquisiteness even surpassed Shimin Yanyan. Moreover, this face gave people a very unreal feeling. Whether it was her beauty or her eyes, they all seemed to be painted. Just looking at her charming eyes, she seemed to be a delicate and pitiful woman with picturesque features. However, her nose was as straight as jade, as if it was carved out of jade, displaying her cold and resolute will. And her lips were curved skillfully, the most typical heart-shaped mouth, exquisite beyond compare. However, her lips didn't have any color. Instead, they were somewhat pale. In fact, her entire face seemed to be transparent. Ice skin and jade bones, perhaps it was completely used to describe this woman. Speaking of which, her skin and her expression were somewhat similar to Ice Spirit. But Ice Spirit wasn't human. She was just an energy creature. In other words, this Dishibian in front of him was completely not a human being, as if she wasn't human. Lord Dishiling, I have already gone to see Willingzi of the Vulture Palace. Yang Dingtian said, he is determined to get the Netherworld Ghost Flame. But in order to save you, and I happen to have 9 Yang Shen veins, so he hopes that I can marry you and save your life. Dishibian's beautiful eyes looked up at Yang Dingtian and said, then there is no need. Yang Dingtian was speechless. Can't you have a little bit of reaction? We are talking about the fusion of yin and yang. Can you show a bit of anger or shyness? Yang Dingtian asked, may I ask, how long do you have left to live? I don't know. Dishibian said, probably 1 or 2 years. Yang Dingtian said, since you have rejected the fusion of yin and yang, and I am determined to get the Netherworld Ghost Flame. So we will do our best. In the end, it will be up to heaven to decide who the Netherworld Ghost Flame belongs to, okay? Dishibian said. Yang Dingtian said, even if you don't get the Netherworld Ghost Flame, I will think of a way to save you. You can't save me. Dishibian said. Yang Dingtian said, do you know about the reversal of yin and yang? As long as you reverse your 9 Yang Shen veins into 9 Yang, then back into primal chaos, and finally into yin and yang dual veins, you will be able to live. Dishibian revealed a look of astonishment. Then she shook her head and said, that is impossible. Yang Dingtian stretched out his left hand and summoned the Yang attribute Million Spirit Demon Flame. Then he stretched out his right hand and summoned the Yang attribute Demon Spirit Demon Flame. Finally, it suddenly closed and turned into a colorless primal chaos flame. You are very powerful, Dishibian said. Her picturesque big eyes finally revealed a trace of astonishment. I will find time to meditate and extract the section of the reversal of yin and yang and modify it to see if it is suitable for you to cultivate. Yang Dingtian said, but you have 9 yin Shen veins, so you have a feasible foundation. However, I can't guarantee that I will succeed. I will try my best to finish writing it before you die. Dishibian said, when do you plan to go to the Netherworld Ghost Emperor? Yang Dingtian asked. So, Dishibian said, then, how about you travel with me? Yang Dingtian said. Dishibian's beautiful big eyes flashed with a trace of hesitation. Then she shook her head and said, no need, I am not used to it. Okay, then I will take my leave first. Yang Dingtian said, let's see the guest out. Sakura said. After leaving the Imperial Mausoleum, Yang Dingtian flew south at full speed, towards the land of the extreme south. After 3 days and 3 nights, he entered the land of extreme difficulty, the territory of the Southern Sea Ning clan. In front of him, more than 10 flying rays blocked Yang Dingtian's path. Excuse me, are you Sir Yang Dingtian? The person asked. Yes, it is me. Yang Dingtian said. Madam asked me to welcome you. The person said. Madam. Umaji. Why did she come to the Ning clan to give birth? Golden Ning City was still as peaceful as ever. It was as if the destruction of Ning Wuming and all the master-level elders did not affect the Ning clan at all. All the servants were still meticulously working. Wu Maji said that even if all the masters of the Ning clan died, the slaves in Ning City would still work meticulously every day, and the housekeeper would still pay their salaries meticulously. Because this pattern had been in place for thousands of years, it had become an incomparably huge habit. Yang Dingtian directly flew into Ning City. He landed on the platform of Wu Maji's palace. Even though he had already been here before, Yang Dingtian was still shocked by the splendor of the jewelry and the extravagance of this place. Wu Maji's personal maid, Naya, came up to him with gentle eyes and said softly, "You're finally here. How long has it been since the baby was born?" Yang Dingtian asked. "It's been more than half a month." Naya said, "Hurry up and take a look." Yang Dingtian quickly rushed in. After entering the palace, Yang Dingtian realized that Wu Maji's maids had multiplied by several times. Before he entered the inner room, he heard the baby crying. "Don't make him cry." Then Wu Maji's impatient voice came. She said again, "Use more strength. I can wear this dress before. I don't believe that I can't wear it anymore. This servant has used up all my strength. I still can't wear it." "Madam, the waist of your dress is too thin." The maid gasped for breath. Wu Maji immediately flew into a rage. "It's all that damn man's fault. Is he here or not? Little ancestor, I beg you, please don't cry. I don't want to beat you up in front of your father." Yang Dingtian immediately frowned. "What does this woman mean? If I can't beat you up in front of you, can I beat you up in front of you? But the baby is only half a month old." After Yang Dingtian entered, immediately, he saw an extremely luxurious room. Dozens of maids were holding all kinds of gorgeous brocade clothes, waiting for Wu Maji to try them on. 2 nannies were carrying 2 babies. One of the babies was obediently watching with his eyes wide open, while the other was waving his hands and crying. "I knew it. This woman definitely won't take care of her own babies," Yang Dingtian said hatefully in his heart. Then he quickly rushed over and carried the crying baby over. He gently coaxed, "Oh, good baby, don't cry, Daddy is here." At this moment, the white sheep-like Wu Maji turned around and spoke to Yang Dingtian. "Hey, who is this wild man? Why are you in my room?" Chapter 639. Although a shaman's talent was not as rare as the 9 Yang Xian meridians, it was still 1 in a billion. What was the key to becoming a shaman? Without a doubt, it was psychic. Therefore, this talent was not in the Xian meridians, but in the mind. Only those with psychic talent could become a shaman. Wu Maji took out a crystal skull and placed it on the table. Suddenly, the dazzling room darkened, turning from dazzling gold and jade to ghastly ghost qi. "Let's go outside, Golden Yang," Wu Maji said and carried the crystal skull out. "Maji, you should put on some clothes." Yang Dingtian saw Wu Maji's thin clothes and could not help but say, "What are you afraid of? There are no men here." Wu Maji said, "Who knows, ghosts might come out later. I don't want you to be seen by ghosts." Yang Dingtian said, "Pay." Wu Maji spat and went to put on some clothes. Under the moonlight, the crystal skull was surrounded by a mysterious and eerie aura. It was as if all the moonlight had been swallowed by the crystal skull. The entire Peace City was filled with eerie winds and the temperature dropped by more than 10 degrees. Place your hand on the crystal skull and use your divine sense to sense it. If you have psychic talent, the ghosts inside will appear. Wu Maji said, "The stronger your psychic talent, the more ghosts will appear." Yang Dingtian followed Wu Maji's instructions and placed his hand on the skull. Yang Dingtian had tested many talents, such as Xian meridians, lightning element, etc., and all of them were heaven-defying. Immediately, Yang Dingtian was filled with anticipation for this test. When he placed his hand on the crystal skull, he felt an electric current flowing through his hand. Then Yang Dingtian inserted his divine sense into the crystal skull and sensed the energy inside. Suddenly, he heard a scream and the energy inside the crystal skull disappeared without a trace. Yang Dingtian was shocked and used his Xian Qi and divine sense to chase after the energy inside the crystal skull. Who knew that wherever his divine sense went, the energy inside the crystal skull would disappear. Wu Maji's beautiful eyes widened as she stared at Yang Dingtian's hand, hoping that 9 ghosts would appear at once. Who would have thought that after a long while, not only did not a single ghost appear, not even a single one appeared. She, Wumaji, had spawned a total of 7 ghosts. Therefore, her talent as a shaman was rather high. In her impression, Yang Dingtian was a peerless genius who knew everything. Although spiritual talent was extremely rare, it wasn't as rare as lightning talent. Yang Dingtian had lightning talent, but he didn't have any spiritual talent at all. How was this possible? Yang Dingtian was also unwilling to give up and kept probing. However, not only did he fail to summon a single ghost, the energy within the crystal skeleton was so scared that it disappeared without a trace. Yang Dingtian was also surprised. He even knew the evil soul art and could even absorb the puppet battle soul, but he couldn't summon a ghost? Moreover, he had the million-spirit demonic fire, which contained countless vengeful spirits. At this moment, Poise's chuckle sounded in Yang Dingtian's mind. Idiot, lightning talent and spiritual talent are incompatible. Your lightning talent is so strong, how can you have spiritual talent? Didn't you feel that wherever your divine sense went, the souls inside the crystal skull would escape? Yang Dingtian was stunned. Then he said to Wu Maji, Ji, lightning talent and spiritual talent are incompatible. Therefore, it is impossible for me to have spiritual talent. Alright. Wu Maji said, ghosts are most afraid of lightning. Then, her beautiful eyes flickered and she said sweetly, Husband, no. Yang Dingtian said firmly, You can't go, absolutely not. This matter can't even be discussed. But, who are you to me? What right do you have to control me? Wu Maji said loudly, Because I am your husband. Yang Dingtian said, Hey. Wu Maji said, Do you really think that you are Ningyu just because you are wearing a mask? You are obviously the despicable Yang Dingtian. Yang Dingtian was angry and amused at the same time. This woman, when you need me, you are Ningyu. When you don't, you are Yang Dingtian. Can you not be so realistic? Yang Dingtian took a deep breath and said, All right, I have already said that I can promise you anything, except for this matter. You have only given birth half a month ago, you cannot accompany me to take risks. Wu Maji said, Bastard, don't be like Ningyu, okay? You are doing your best to protect me. Ghost Hell region is thousands of miles long. Other than the underground creatures, everything else is undead. Without a shaman spirit master, it is impossible to move around. They are immune to mystic chi attacks and are even more immune to physical attacks. Other than a few mystic skills, most mystic skills are unable to harm them. How do you fight? Yang Dingtian said, I have lightning mystic skills. Wu Maji said, How many can you kill with your lightning mystic skills? 1,000, 10,000? But in the Ghost Hell region, there are hundreds of millions, even billions of undead. Can you kill them all? Without a shaman spirit master, it is impossible to enter. Otherwise, why is it that only a shaman spirit master can obtain the Ghost Hell flame? Yang Dingtian said without hesitation, I have already said that you cannot go. Because there are not only ghosts, there are also people who are even more terrifying than ghosts. If anything happens to you, I will not forgive myself even if I die. I have already promised you that I will protect you for life. Yang Dingtian, you are not Ninghua. Don't learn from Ninghua and protect me at all times. I hate it when she's like that. Wu Maji said loudly, That's right, you are right. I feel more guilty than love for Ningyu. I, Wu Maji, love a shameless bastard. I can lie to myself, but I can't lie to my heart. Every time I have a dream, that bastard man will appear and defile me again and again. That man is you, you bastard. Yang Dingtian trembled, then suddenly hugged Wu Maji in his arms, as if he wanted to press her into his body. All right, I am satisfied, I am proud. Wu Maji said in a low voice, Bastard, I have satisfied your vanity once, so you have to satisfy me once. I have long been unable to endure it. Even in my dreams I want to go to the Ghost Hell region. That is the holy land for us shamans to cultivate. Sect Master Yang Dingtian, Lord Yang Dingtian, this little girl begs you, please bring me to cultivate, bring me to level up. If it wasn't for that hypocrite Wu Yuming, I would definitely let you go. But with her here, I do not dare. Yang Dingtian said slowly, Wu Yuming can't kill me, but she will definitely kill you. This time, they are determined to succeed, and the strength they will have when they enter the ghost hell region will definitely be unprecedented. So, baby, I am sorry. I can't let the baby be without a mother. Then you are willing to let me become a widow again? Wu Maji said loudly. I won't, don't worry. Yang Dingtian said, but this matter has already been decided. It doesn't matter if I'm a bastard, or a fake Ningyu. But it seems like my heart is going to protect you. I hate it when you guys are like this. I hate it when you guys are like this. Wu Maji was flustered and exasperated. Bullshit male chauvinism. Scram right now. Gigi. Yang Dingtian quickly went forward to coax her. Wu Maji forcefully pushed him out and said, scram right now, scram back to your ghost hell region, hateful male chauvinism. Yang Dingan said, then at least let me hug the baby before I leave. You didn't die, you still have time to come back and hug him. Wu Maji said unhappily, little bastard is finally asleep, and if you wake him up, I will have to coax him again. Scrim. Yang Dingtan said gently, then I will leave. Once I return from the ghost hell region, I will come and see you, okay? Whatever. Wu Maji turned her body and said, but I am warning you, if you die, I will not be a widow for you. The next day I will remarry, and I will choose the most handsome man to remarry. Don't worry, I won't die. I still haven't used my true face to marry you, how can I bear to die? Yang Dingtian said, marry your sister. Scram, it would be best if you died in the ghost hell region. Wu Maji said hatefully. Yang Dingtian looked at her charming back and lightly blew her a kiss, then flew into the sky, riding the demon eagle king north. Immediately, Wu Maji covered her mouth, her body trembling as she wept. Yang Dingtian did not go north to the central continent, but instead flew west to the ghost hell region. The Vulture Palace was determined to obtain the netherworld ghost flame. If God blocked their path, they would kill God. If Buddha blocked their path, they would kill Buddha. The half-sage Wolingzi, the world's strongest wizard spirit master, was prepared to personally take action. In the ghost hell region, without a wizard spirit master, it would be difficult to move around. Just as Wu Maji said, the ghost hell region had more than 1 billion undead. How many undead could you kill? Therefore, the one who obtained the netherworld ghost flame was always the wizard spirit master. No wonder Wolingzi said that this netherworld ghost flame had nothing to do with Yang Dingtian, and also had nothing to do with Dishibian. With a half-sage wizard spirit master taking action, no one would be able to compete. But there was no doubt that Yang Dingtian's side was also not easy to deal with. In the Vulture Palace, Wolingzi received 3 letters. The first letter was from Zhu Qingzhu, who was traveling outside. He said that after a period of time, he hoped to personally come to the Vulture Palace to pay a visit to Senior Wolingzi. Many people knew about the earth-shattering battle that night, and they were well aware of Zhu Qingzhu's strength. Although he was not yet a half-sage, he was not far from it. Although Zhu Qingzhu's letter was to pay a visit, it was also a blatant threat. Once Wolingzi left the Vulture Palace would be completely empty. At that time, Zhu Qingzhu would be able to do whatever he wanted. However, Wolingzi gritted his teeth and did not reply. But very quickly he received the second letter. It was from Dugushao. The contents were exactly the same. After a period of time, he also hoped to personally come to the Vulture Palace to pay a visit to Senior Wolingzi. Others might not know about Dugushao's cultivation, but Wolingzi knew a thing or two about it. This person's strength was unfathomable. One had to know that he was the only person who had escaped unscathed from the soul-departing palace. Suddenly, Wolingzi felt a great pressure and couldn't help but curse. Yang Dingtian, what kind of bullshit Tiando League leader are you? Once something happens, all the evil ways leaders come to help. You say that others are colluding with evil ways, but you're the one who colluded with them the most. The third letter caused Wolingzi to be completely shocked, and he gave up on the idea of going to the ghost hell region. This was because the third letter was written by someone called Mistress Mida. It said that after a period of time, she might come to the Vulture Palace to pay a visit to Mr. Wolingzi. Of course, she was referring to the fact that if Wolingzi dared to go to the ghost hell region, then don't blame her for really coming. However, if Wulingzi was at the Vulture Palace, then she wouldn't come. Bastard, bastard. Yang Dingan, I didn't think that you and Mistress Mida had an affair. You're really amazing, taking both master and disciple into your bed. Wulingzi was furious. Then, Wulingzi found Wu Yuming and Vulture and said, "This time, I won't go to the Ghost Hell region." Vulture was shocked. "Why, great-grandfather?" Wulingzi said, "Because Yang Dingtian found 3 people to force me to not go." Vulture said, "In this world, who dares to force great-grandfather? 1 half-step sage, 2 infinitely close to the half-step sage." Wulingzi said. Wu Yoming's eyes narrowed. 1 is Zhu Qingzhu, 1 is Dugushao, and the other is a half-step sage. Who is he? You don't need to know who he is. Wulingzi said indifferently, "This time, other than Lingxi, Vulture, and you, the other experts will all be sent from the Netherworld Sea. We must obtain the Ghost Hell Flame." "Yes, great-grandfather," Wu Yuming said. "Then, who will go to Yang Dingtian's side?" "No one will be going. Only Yang Dingtian will be going." Wu Lingzi said, "We already have a tacit understanding. Since I'm not going, I'm not going. Since I'm not going to go, no matter if it's Zhu Qingzhu, Dugushao, or Dongfang Minmi, none of the great grandmasters can go. And it's useless even if the grandmasters go. Therefore only Yang Dingtian will go. At most, he will cooperate with Dishi Bian. However, Dishi Bian is an incomparably arrogant person. He may not accept it. It doesn't matter even if this adulterous couple cooperates. They will definitely not return." Vulture said fiercely. "Sectmaster, there's a person called Yang Zheng outside asking for an audience." Lingwu said. Her current position beside Wu Yuming was equivalent to a secretary on Earth. "Yang Zheng?" Wu Yuming was surprised and said, "Wasn't Yang Zheng turned into a walking corpse after Yang Dingtian usurped the position of city lord?" Then Wu Yuming said, "Let him in." Lingwu said. After a while, Yang Zheng walked in weakly with his entire body swaying. Then, he knelt in front of Wu Yuming and said, "Cloud Heaven City Lord Yang Zheng greets the Hidden Sect Master, Netherworld Sea's Young Master, and Tiando League's Master, Wu Yuming." Wu Yuming looked at him indifferently and said, "Yang Zheng is already crippled. Or you." Yang Zheng knelt on the ground and said, "I've already seized Yang Zheng's body. I'm the previous successor of Cloud Heaven City, Yang Zheng's father, Yang Yunchong." Wu Yoming's eyes narrowed slightly and said, "What's the matter?" Yang Zheng took out a box from his bosom and offered it with both hands. "I offer the pig-slaying swordsmanship. The pig-slaying swordsmanship that Yang Dingtian is determined to obtain." Suddenly, Wu Yoming's entire body trembled. Her eyes lit up instantly and she grabbed the box in Yang Zheng's hands. Chapter 640. As for the pig-slaying swordsmanship, Wu Yuming was determined to get it. Of course, the pig-slaying swordsmanship was useless to him, but it could cut off Yang Dingtian's path to improvement. That was more important than anything else. Hence, when Yang Dingtian offered a reward for the pig-slaying swordsmanship, Wu Yuming also offered a reward, and the price he offered was much higher than Yang Dingtian's. Of course, on the surface, he offered a reward for his junior Yang Dingtian. Hence, when Yang Zheng offered the pig-slaying swordsmanship, it was a huge surprise to him. But without a doubt, Wu Yuming was not a shallow person. He suppressed the urge to open the box and smiled warmly at Yang Zheng. "It doesn't matter if you are Yang Zheng or Senior Yang Yunchong, from today onwards, you are Yang Zheng. Brother Yang Dingtian and I are from the same sect. If your Yang clan inherits Cloud Sky City, I will definitely speak up." Yang Zheng knelt down and kowtowed. "Thank you, Sect Master." "All right, how did you get this pig-slaying swordsmanship?" Wu Yuming asked. "When Shimen Wuya was purging our Yang clan, we had no choice but to escape from Cloud Sky City. We entered the Hidden Techniques Pavilion and took it." Yang Zheng said, "Originally, there were 2 scrolls, but when we were being hunted down, in order to save a top expert's life, we gave up the first scroll. Now, only the second scroll is left." Wu Yuming was overjoyed. What he wanted was the second scroll. Then, Wu Yuming opened the box unhurriedly. Instantly, he saw that it was empty. His expression turned cold and he narrowed his eyes. Then, he smiled warmly and said, Brother Yang Zheng, there is nothing inside. I know. Yang Zheng continued to kowtow. On the second day after I escaped from Cloud Sky City, I realized that it was empty. Hence, I hid like a frightened bird, not daring to show myself or meet you. After an intense struggle, I still came. Even though I am offering you an empty box, that was not my intention. I really did want to give you the second half of the fourth stage of the pig-slaying sword art. Sending a goose feather from 1,000 miles away, it's the thought that counts. Wu Yuming said indifferently, then may I ask Brother Yang Zheng, why did your box become empty? Who took the things inside? Yang Zheng's gaze immediately became complicated as he said, I also can't figure it out after racking my brains. These 2 years, I've always pretended to be a walking corpse. No one discovered it. So when I hid the pig-slaying swordsmanship, no one saw it except for my son, or rather, my grandson. Oh, your son? Wu Yuming said, Yang Yichen, who is about to become Yang Dingtian's direct disciple. Yes, that's him. Yang Zheng said, he is my flesh and blood, and also a baby, so I did not guard against him. In the past, I took out the box in front of him a few times and touched the secret manual. In the end, he saw it, so he crawled under the bed and took out the secret manual, treating it as his toy. I think that this is the only possibility. Then do you think that the secret manual is now in Yang Dingtian's hands? Wu Yuming asked. It should be. Yang Zheng said, because Yang Dingtian stayed in the Xianqi formation in Xijing for quite some time. I think he should have gone to cultivate the second half of the fourth stage. Sighed. Maybe this is the will of the heavens. Wu Yuming sighed. From the enemy's point of view, you should feel pain about this matter. But from the father's point of view, you should be proud of your son. Yang Zheng said, yes, my emotions are also very complicated. Wu Ming sighed softly and said, although you brought me an empty box, after all, you came with affection. Tell me, what do you want? Yang Zheng kowtowed and said, this lowly one's soul is being protected by evil spirits. After drifting for more than 10 years, this lowly one's soul has become very weak. Therefore, the amount of time I can stay awake is very short. I want to ask for a soul aggregation shadow. Wu Yuming looked at him and said indifferently, I don't have a soul aggregation shadow, but other people do. I can ask that person to give you one. Yang Zheng kowtowed and said, this lowly one is moved to tears. This lowly one is willing to die for sect master. No matter, your words are too serious. Wu Yuming said with a smile. The next day, Wu Yoming's team set out for the Ghost Hell region. In total, there were Wu Yuming, Vulture, Lingxi, Song Yu, Yang Zheng, Netherworld sees Elder Nirvana, Netherworld sees Elder Miaojue, Netherworld sees Elder Luoming, and so on. Among them, Elder Nirvana was a Grandmaster's Spirit Master. Vulture was a Martial Honorable Celestial Spirit Master. Wu Yoming's group had a total of 4 Grandmasters and close to 10 Grandmasters. Only Vulture was a Martial Honorable. Without a Spirit Master, it would be difficult to move an inch in the Ghost Hell region. Yang Dingtian continued to head west. After 10,000 li, he met Dongfang Minmi who was waiting for him. Little Tian, Wolingzi will not enter the Ghost Hell region. Dongfang Minmi said. This was good news. If Wolingzi was here, then Yang Dingtian's chances of obtaining the Netherworld Ghost Fire would be extremely slim. Wolingzi was not only a half-sage, but more importantly, he had obtained the Netherworld Ghost Fire before. Following that, Dongfang Minmi said, however, in exchange, none of our Grandmasters can go. You can bring Qin Huayu, Song Chunhua, Duan Rian, Song Shao, and the rest. Yang Dingtian said, Qin Huayu and the rest can't go. Wu Yuming can't kill me, but she will definitely kill them. Dongfang Minmi said, that's right, there's one more thing. Mi Dai Shirtai also interfered in this matter and stopped Wolingzi from going to the Ghost Hell region. Yang Dingtian was stunned. Queen Hai Xen also interfered? Why was that? Was it also for him? After a while, Dongfang Minmi said, Little Tian, Wu Maji didn't come with you? Yang Dingun shook his head and said, she just gave birth, so I'm worried. Wu Yuming won't kill me, but that doesn't mean she won't kill Wu Maji. Dongfang Minmi sighed but did not say anything. Although he never said it, He hoped that Wu Maji would follow Yang Dingtian to the Ghost Hell region. Without a shaman spirit master, it would be hard to move around in the Ghost Hell region. The number of undead there was an astronomical number, so how many could they kill? But he couldn't say these words. After all, Wu Maji had just given birth, and Yang Dingtian was right. In a place like the Ghost Hell region, Wu Yuming couldn't kill Yang Dingtian, but he would definitely kill Wu Maji. You have a concealment profound skill, and your innate lightning attribute is invincible. Lightning is the nemesis of undead creatures. Even if you can't obtain the Ghost Hell flame, you should be able to protect yourself. Dongfang Minmi said, but little Tian, the Ghost Hell region is an extremely dangerous and mysterious place. The undead creatures there are all over 10,000 years old, and many monarch-level undead creatures are extremely powerful. Once you encounter a fatal danger, you must release the Naga, understand? Yang Dingun was stunned. The undead are also afraid of the Naga? The Naga are a half-god race, at the top of the food chain in the entire primal chaos world, at the top of the pyramid. All living creatures are incomparably afraid of them. Dongfang Minmi said, that's why I'm not worried about you going alone. Even if you can't obtain the Ghost Hell flame, you should at least be able to protect yourself. Yang Dingtian said, Master, I won't be here during this time, but Wu Yuming won't be here either, so he won't be able to cause any trouble. Now that we don't have the biggest obstacle in the central continent, we have to speed up. It's best if we can settle everything before Wu Yuming returns. If there's no other choice, we can use force to sweep everything away. That old thief Wulingzi definitely won't use force. Dongfang Minmi said, oh right, little Tian, the Dishi clan lives in ancient tombs for a long time, so she should have the talent of psychic communication. She should also be a wizard spirit master, so if you can cooperate with her, it should be very beneficial. I will. Yang Dingtian said, but this woman is very antisocial, she doesn't like to contact anyone. Dongfang Minmi nodded, remained silent for a while, and then said, Child, no matter whether you can obtain the Ghost Hell flame or not, taking care of yourself is the most important thing. Even if you lose the duel with Wu Yuming, it's not a big deal. After the Tiando League is finished, it will still be in our hands, Wu Yuming can't take it away. Yang Dingtian said with a smile, I know, we've already made a plan before. On the surface, we're building one path, but in the dark, we're building another path. On the surface, we're waiting for the duel with Wu Yuming, but in fact, we're taking the opportunity to reorganize the Tiando League. For me, winning or losing a duel is very important. But for the Tiando League, winning or losing a duel doesn't change anything. Taking a deep breath, Yang Dingun said, Master, then I'll be leaving. Dongfang Minmi said. Immediately, Yang Dingtian rode the Demon Eagle King and continued to fly towards the west. Ghost Hell region. Another land that almost didn't exist. Of course, it really did exist in the Primal Chaos land, but no one dared to go there, so it was as if it didn't exist. The demon area was filled with poisonous gas, and there were no signs of life, so almost no one went there. Although it was almost, there were still people who went there. Even many martial profound level people would go there, as long as they brought enough pills. Because the demon area didn't have any demonic beasts, other than the environment, there were no dangers. And the Ghost Hell region was an existence second only to the Taboo land. There was a saying that if one wasn't a master-level expert, they didn't even have the qualifications to take a look at the Ghost Hell region. Even if it was a master or martial grandmaster, once they dared to enter the Ghost Hell region, it was basically a dead end. Without a shaman spirit master, the Ghost Hell region was a dead end. The Ghost Hell region was about 7,000 to 8,000 miles wide, parallel to the Taboo land. It was 30,000 miles below the Taboo land and 50,000 miles away from the southwest continent. After the ancient Nirvana, from the beginning of records, this place was a Ghost Hell region. The entire continent never saw the light of day, and it was always night all year round. There were at least 1 billion, or even a few billion undead floating on this continent. Fortunately, they were undead. If they were human, even if the land was 10 million square kilometers wide, there wouldn't be so many people living there. Dongli Prairie's Snakeman Empire. In the magnificent empire's main hall. Ah Wu, Prime Minister. Queen Hai Xen lightly said, this time, you will accompany the princess to the Ghost Hell region. You must let Princess Huang Yu obtain the Ghost Hell flame, understand? The two said, Ah Wu, one of the only two shaman spirit masters in the world, Gui Wu Zi, Zhu Qingzhu's martial uncle. And this person called Prime Minister by Hai Xen was a handsome young man. In terms of appearance, he was probably as handsome as Wu Yuming, but his face was like a jade sculpture, so beautiful that it was absolutely unreal. He was actually the Prime Minister of the Snakeman Empire. Your Majesty, the Prime Minister said. Gui Wuzi said, if we meet people from the Netherworld Sea, what should we do? Hai Xen lightly said, don't kill Wu Yuming, and if you can, don't kill the others. But if there is no other choice, other than Wu Yuming and Vulture, you can kill the others. Gui Wuzi said. Then what about Yang Dingtian? Gui Wuzi asked. Don't kill him and don't hurt him. Hai Xen decisively said, but you can't let him get the Netherworld Ghost Flame. I will say it again, I would rather let Wu Yuming get the Ghost Flame than let Yang Dingtian get it. But if Wu Yuming wants to harm Yang Dingtian, you must save him, even if you have to kill Wu Yuming, do you understand? Yes. Gui Wuzi said, then what about Dishi Bian? Queen Hai Xen coldly said, kill on sight. Gui Wuzi said. Hai Xen looked at the two of them and said, you two bring the princess. Do you have confidence in facing the people from the Netherworld Sea? Gui Wuzi said, me and Prime Minister are enough. Other than Wu Yu, no one from the Netherworld Sea is in my eyes. Hai Xen said, then, you two bring Princess Huang Yu and set off immediately. The two of them said, after flying for 4 days and 4 nights. Yang Dingtian finally arrived at the Netherworld Sea region. What is the Netherworld Sea region? It is very simple. When you look up at the sky, you will never see the sun, nor the moon. When there is not a single wave in the sea, when there is not a single fish, when there is only eternal darkness, you will arrive at the Netherworld Sea region. Although the demon Vulture King was strong, it was useless against the undead, so it could not enter. Yang Dingtian gently patted its neck and said softly, you can go back to the central continent, go back to the earth-splitting city, go back to Cloud Heaven City to see Bao Bao, but come back to pick me up after 1.5 months, understand? The demon Vulture King screeched and nodded. Its eyes were filled with unwillingness, and it was eager to enter the Ghost Hell region. It wanted to follow Yang Dingtian, but it had to obey orders. Yang Dingun jumped up from its back and said, then goodbye. The demon Vulture King wrapped its neck around Yang Dingtian's body and screeched. Then, it spread its wings and flew towards the northeast. That was the direction of Cloud Heaven City. Yang Dingtian could foresee that Bao Bao would play crazily in the sky for the next month. Yang Dingtian operated his Xian Qi and flew forward. After flying through the endless darkness for 1 day and 1 night, he finally arrived at the Ghost Hell region. After landing, Yang Dingtian immediately swallowed a pill and held his breath. This place was probably the hell of the Chaos World. There was a rotten smell everywhere, endless ruins, and broken walls. In the ravines, there was a disgusting green liquid flowing. As far as the eye could see, there were rotten zombies, walking skeletons, and wandering ghosts everywhere. They were densely packed and innumerable. Yang Dingun could not help but feel his scalp go numb. Although the Netherworld Ghost Flame could appear anywhere in the Ghost Hell region, this anywhere referred to any place in the Ghost Hell City. The Ghost Hell City was 300 miles wide and was in the center of the Ghost Hell region. It was about 4,000 miles away from Yang Dingtian's location. In other words, Yang Dingtian had to kill his way through and enter the heart of the Ghost Hell region. Only after reaching the Ghost Hell City could he obtain the Netherworld Ghost Flame. Along the way, how many undead creatures would he encounter? Hundreds of thousands? Millions? Tens of millions? Anything was possible. Moreover, the closer he got to the Ghost Hell City, the stronger the undead creatures were. Only the heavens knew how powerful the undead monarch in the Netherworld Ghost City was. Therefore, there was a saying that without a shaman spirit master, it would be difficult to move in the Ghost Hell region. Because you could not kill them all, You could only summon undead creatures to fight them. Only then could you enter the Ghost Hell region. And Yang Dingtian did not have a shaman spirit master by his side. Of course, his woman, Wu Maji, was one, but how could he bear to let her come? Let's kill. Yang Dingtian's heart was filled with a heroic spirit. Let me be the first person in history who is not a shaman spirit master to kill his way into the Ghost Hell City. Let me be the first person to kill my way into the Ghost Hell City. The undead creatures were extremely sensitive to the aura of humans and hated them greatly. The moment Yang Dingtian landed, within a few thousand meters, all the zombies and skeletons that were wandering around absent-mindedly stopped in their tracks. Then, all of their gazes shot towards Yang Dingtian. Suddenly, Yang Dingtian was surrounded by tens of thousands of undead creatures. Tens of thousands of pairs of green eyes stared at Yang Dingtian. That kind of feeling made one's hair stand on end. Following that, tens of thousands of undead creatures roared like crazy demons and charged at Yang Dingtian. Fuck. Yang Dingtian's scalp went numb. There were too many of them. If he wanted to kill his way into the Ghost Hell City, he would have to kill millions of them. Whoosh. Yang Dingtian immediately summoned the demon spirit fiend flame energy barrier and covered his entire body. Fortunately, he had learned the second half of the 4th rank of the pig-slaying swordsmanship. Otherwise, he wouldn't even be able to summon an energy barrier. Then he might really be killed by the countless undead creatures. After the energy barrier covered his entire body, countless undead creatures rushed forward crazily, one after another. The ghost slammed into the energy barrier and was instantly reduced to ashes, its soul scattered and dispersed. The zombies slammed into the energy barrier and were immediately unsheathed before being turned into ashes. The skeletons slammed into the energy barrier and were instantly smashed into pieces. Suddenly, Yang Dingtian clearly felt that this energy barrier was truly heaven-defying. This demon spirit fiend flame was truly heaven-defying. Countless undead creatures rushed forward one after another. In an instant, Yang Dingtian's energy barrier was surrounded by a dense pile of corpses and rotten flesh. But then, Yang Dingtian could no longer laugh. Because after the crazy impact, the energy barrier became thinner and thinner. Yang Dingtian hurriedly injected his Xian Qi to replenish it. Then, he felt his Xian Qi leaking out like a tide. Swish. Yang Dingtian operated his Xian Qi and slashed out with his sword. The sword light that was dozens of feet long was incomparably majestic as it swept across. Even a great master would not be able to withstand this attack. Bang! In an instant, thousands of zombies turned into rotten flesh and thousands of skeletons shattered. However, they were all fine. Countless ghosts directly came out of their bodies and turned into undead ghosts. They continued to charge towards Yang Dingtian ferociously. Yang Dingtian tried to kill them with his Xian skill. Even a great master could not withstand the flame blade. It was useless against them. Immediately after, Yang Dingtian released the demon spirit fiend flame and released the million spirit fiend flame. Suddenly, like a missile exploding, flames burst out and illuminated the entire dark night sky. But these undead creatures still rushed forward one after another. Now, Yang Dingtian was very sure of one thing. Any physical attack or mystical skill attack was completely useless against the undead creatures here. No wonder it was said that without a spirit master, it was difficult to move an inch in the Ghost Hell region. This was the truth. There was no other way. He could only use the lightning attribute Xian skill, Devil Sky Splitter. Yang Dingtian released both his hands from the energy barrier. Pa 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 pa. After Yang Dingtian broke through to 9-star 3rd grade master, he had not tried the Devil Sky Splitter. Then, he was completely stunned by the scene in front of him. Too exaggerated. Too stunning. Lightning that was thousands of meters long instantly streaked across the sky. Then, it turned into countless small lightning bolts and fiercely struck the ground. In that instant, the entire dark night sky was as bright as day. Then, all the undead creatures in front of him were turned into ashes. That's right, all of them were turned into ashes. Yang Dingtian's Devil Sky Splitter lightning instantly killed tens of thousands of undead creatures. It was said that lightning was the nemesis of undead creatures. However, this realm was too much of a nemesis. Even if there were tens of thousands of weak humans, Yang Dingtian's Devil Sky Splitter lightning would not be able to kill them all. Immediately after, Yang Dingtian felt that the surrounding Xian Qi had suddenly become incomparably dense. After the undead creatures were smashed into pieces, they released resentment and Xian Qi which instantly filled the entire space. Yang Dingtian was greatly shocked. This was completely a holy land for cultivation. Chapter 641. Yang Dingtian never thought that his Devil Sky Splitting lightning would be so powerful that it could instantly kill tens of thousands of undead within a few miles. Not only that, after these undead souls were scattered, they actually released such rich, profound qi. However, this profound qi energy was quickly dissipating. Yang Dingtian saw that his lightning had already killed all the undead creatures within a few miles. The undead creatures in the distance had a poor sense of smell and couldn't find him. Thus, Yang Dingtian immediately sat down and prepared to absorb profound qi. Sha, help me be on guard. If there are undead attacks, inform me. Yang Dingtian said. Poisa said, but the profound qi of these undead souls is insidious and can't be devoured. Don't worry, I have the yin-yang qi transformation technique. Yang Dingtian said. I forgot about that. Poisa said. Then, Yang Dingtian closed his eyes and began to absorb profound qi. This profound qi was really rich, much richer than the profound qi purification array. However, this corpse poison was very terrifying. No one could devour the profound qi here, except for Yang Dingtian because Yang Dingtian had the yin-yang qi transformation technique. Yang Dingtian crazily devoured all the profound qi around him. However, it was a pity that the speed at which the profound energy dissipated was truly too fast. Thus, Yang Dingtian took out a few magnetic crystals and formed a small magnetic array. Suddenly, the speed of devouring profound qi increased by 10 times. Devour. After using the yin-yang qi transformation technique, he refined it into pure profound qi and then devoured it in his sea of qi. After a short half an hour, the profound qi in the surroundings dissipated and was devoured cleanly by Yang Dingtian. This cultivation speed was really amazing. It was actually 10 times faster than the profound qi purification array. Yang Dingtian couldn't help but be overjoyed. Next, Yang Dingtian continued to go deeper. After going 1.5 kilometers deep, thousands upon thousands of undead immediately rushed over. This time, Yang Dingtian couldn't be bothered to use the energy barrier. He directly used the Devil Sky Splitting lightning. But another breathtaking scene appeared. A huge bolt of lightning that was several kilometers long came crashing down, instantly splitting into tens of thousands of bolts and crashing down on the countless undead spirits on the ground. In an instant, countless undead were annihilated. However, there were still half of the undead that hadn't died yet. After standing in place blankly, they rushed over crazily. Yang Dingtian was shocked as he struck down another Devil Sky Splitting lightning. Finally, the remaining undead were all wiped out. Yang Dingtian knew that the deeper they went, the stronger the undead would be. Just the second wave was already so strong that Yang Dingtian's lightning couldn't kill them. But so far, it was still a piece of cake. 2 strikes of lightning were all it took to kill all of the undead creatures. Looking at the surrounding 2 to 3 miles, all of the undead had been scared out of their wits, and then the profound energy in the air became incomparably dense. Yang Dingtian used the fastest time to set up a small magnetic force condensation array and crazily devoured all of the profound energy in the surroundings. This time, Yang Dingtian used a full 3 hours to devour all of the profound energy. Of course, more than half of it still dissipated. Then Yang Dingtian continued to go deeper. 3 miles, 6 miles, 9 miles, 20 miles, 15 miles. After 15 miles, Yang Dingtian had no choice but to use the energy barrier. Moreover, he had to strike down more than 20 bolts of lightning before he could kill all of the undead creatures. Not only that, the undead creatures that were killed within 15 miles had erupted with profound energy that Yang Dingtian had to absorb for 6 to 8 hours. This was already the 5th day since Yang Dingtian entered the Ghost Hell region. Yang Dingtian had already gone 50 miles. Now, Yang Dingtian had to strike down 50 bolts of lightning before he could kill all of the undead creatures within 2 miles. And now, after the souls of the undead had been destroyed, the profound energy density was more than 10 times what it was at the beginning. In fact, Yang Dingtian's yin-yang qi transformation technique was already unable to refine and purify so much profound energy in a short amount of time. The profound energy was like a tide, violently surging in. 2 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours. The profound energy was becoming thinner and thinner. Normally, Yang Dingtian should have given up long ago. However, because Yang Dingtian's qi had already begun to expand and could break through at any time, Yang Dingtian was unwilling to give up, even if his profound energy was already very thin. Expand, expand, expand. If he was lucky, he would immediately break through. If he was unlucky, he could only wait for the next time. Boom! Suddenly, Yang Dingtian's entire body turned into nothingness. Yang Dingtian had broken through to become a 9-star 4th grade supreme power. That's right, after becoming a 9-star supreme power, every time he broke through again, his qi would expand into nothingness and then instantly expand. Now, the difficulty of breaking through to the first level was the same as the difficulty of breaking through to the first level. Of course, after breaking through to the supreme power, this difficulty would be temporarily reduced. However, the difficulty and time required to break through from the 9-star supreme power to the semi-sage realm was almost more than that of a trainee martial artist to a supreme power. Wolingzi spent more than 100 years to break through to the semi-sage realm from the 9-star 9th grade supreme power. His luck was not bad. He had broken through here. In 5 days, he broke through from the 9-star 3rd grade supreme power to the 9-star 4th grade supreme power. After a few minutes of nothingness, all of his divine senses returned to his body, and then his entire qi was empty. Finally, he broke through. Yang Dingtian took a deep breath. Speaking of which, the speed of cultivation here was really fast. In just 5 days, he broke through from the 9-star 3rd grade supreme power to the 9-star 4th grade supreme power. It should be known that every level above the 9-star supreme power was as difficult as ascending to the heavens. For example, Song Shao, Yun Kailin, and the others, it was good enough to break through to the first level in a year. They couldn't break through from the 9-star 9th grade supreme power to the supreme power in a few years. Yang Dingtian, on the other hand, broke through to the first level in just 5 days. This speed was completely crazy. Because his qi was empty at this time, Yang Dingtian just happened to be crazily devouring the battle qi. Shao, be careful. Suddenly, Poisa in his mind warned. Yang Dingtian opened his eyes suddenly. Suddenly, a white light stopped in front of him in the blink of an eye. Her face was beautiful, her body was graceful, her eyes were cold like the stars, and her skin was snow-white and transparent. His entire being was cold and cheerless, cold and lonely. Yang Dingtian let out a long sigh of relief. It was an acquaintance, the owner of the Imperial Mausoleum, 9 meridians, 4-star supreme power, and an ancient race, Dishi Bian. Yang Dingnan immediately said happily, "Miss Dishi, we meet again." Dishi Bian looked at Yang Dingtian indifferently and then nodded. She really came earlier than Yang Dingtian and went deeper than him. Moreover, she was followed by dozens of death spirits. Yang Dingtian discovered that the undead creatures around her were actually emitting green radiance. In these 50 miles, the death spirits that Yang Dingtian killed were almost all emitting white light. There were very few death spirits emitting blue light. Surprisingly, the undead creatures following beside Di Shi were green in color. Without a doubt, these green death spirits were all under the control of Dishi Bian. Yang Dingtian clearly felt that these green death spirits were emitting a powerful aura. "Miss Dishi, are you also a shaman spiritualist?" Yang Dingtian asked. Dishi Bian nodded and said, "It's really strange. Why are the death spirits following you emitting green light?" Yang Dingan said, and the death spirits that I killed along the way were all emitting white lights. The death spirit's energy light represents their strength. Dishi Bien said. Then the white color is the weakest? Yang Dingtian asked. Dishi Bien nodded. What's above white? Yang Dingtian asked. Blue. Dishi Bien said. Then what's above blue? Yang Dingtian asked. Yellow. Dishi Bien said. Yang Dingtian was completely speechless. Can't you add a few more words every time you answer? Yang Dingtan asked. Then how many colors are there after yellow? Green, purple, red, gold, colorless. Dishi Bien said. Yang Dingtian asked. Then may I ask, what is the cultivation level of these death spirits emitting green light? Honorable martial artist. Dishi Bien said. Yang Dingtian sucked in a breath of cold air. Green was honorable martial artist. Then wouldn't purple be master level? Then wouldn't red be great grandmaster level? Then wouldn't gold be half saint level? Then colorless, wouldn't that mean saint level? There hadn't been a saint level powerhouse in 500 years. There was actually a saint level powerhouse in this ghost netherland? Don't scare me. Yang Dingtian's heart suddenly jumped. Miss, how deep have you gone? Yang Dingtian asked. 2,500 miles. Dishi Bien said. Wow, so powerful. Shamans were indeed different. They could go 2,500 miles in such a short time. Yang Dingtian, on the other hand, had to kill his way in. It took him a full 5 days to kill his way in, but he only managed to go 50 miles. 10 miles a day. If he wanted to kill his way into the Ghost Nether City, he would need a full 40 days. Of course, if this speed continued, it would be fine. In fact, Yang Dingtian's speed was becoming slower and slower. In the last 3 miles, Yang Dingtian had already spent a full 16 hours. Miss Dishi, you've already gone 2,500 miles. Why did you come out? Yang Dingtian asked. Dishi Bien was silent for a moment, then said, To kill. Yang Dingan was startled, then asked, Kill who? Kill my competitors. Kill those who want to kill me. Dishi Bien said. Yang Dingan immediately let out a long sigh of relief, then said, Miss Dishi, I understand now. It's impossible for me to kill my way in. Even if I kill for 10 years, I still won't be able to enter the Ghost Nether City. Before, when people said that without a shaman spirit master, it would be difficult to move a single step in the Ghost Netherland, I didn't believe them, but now I believe them. Since you're a shaman spirit master, can I go in with you? Can the two of us work together? Suddenly, Dishi Bien fell into silence, as if she was hesitating and thinking. While thinking, Dishi Bien kept staring at Yang Dingtian. After a long time, she slowly closed her eyes, then opened them again. Have you thought it through? Have you made your decision? Yang Dingtian asked, full of expectation. Dishi Bien nodded. Then can I go in with you? Yang Dingtian asked. Dishi Bien said, You killed your way in? Yang Dingtian nodded. Then how many undead did you kill? Dishi Bien asked. More than 100,000. Yang Dingtian answered. Suddenly, Dishi Bien's gaze became complicated, as if she was admiring him, but also speechless. She had never seen such a stupid method of breaking into the Ghost Netherland. Dishi Bien stared at Yang Dingtian for a long time, then turned around and walked away, followed by several dozen undead glowing with green light. Yang Dinghan said, Miss Dishi, you still haven't told me your decision? Dishi Bien didn't even turn her head as she said, I already told you, I won't kill you. What? Yang Dingtan was stunned, then shocked. This was too outrageous. So, she wasn't thinking about bringing him, but whether or not to kill him. One had to know that Yang Dingtian's Qi Si was completely empty. Dishi Bien was a 4-star martial grandmaster. If she wanted to kill him, it would be as easy as flipping her hand. However, this woman was too heartless. He wanted to give the Ghost Nether flame to her, but she was actually hesitating whether or not to kill him. This was too much. No, this damned place was too dangerous. He couldn't let his profound qi run out at any time. Thus, Yang Dingtian hurriedly swallowed the battle profound qi. 4 hours later, Yang Dingtian's qi si was filled with battle profound qi, Then he continued to go 1.5 kilometers deeper. Now he finally saw it clearly. Among the densely packed undead in front of him, half of them were white, and the other half were blue. Dishibien had just said that the undead glowing with green light were at the Martial Supreme level. The blue ones were at the Martial Profound level, and the white ones were below the Great Profound Martial Master level. Yang Dingtian took a deep breath and didn't dare to act rashly. He obediently put on an energy barrier, then quickly struck down with lightning. Put, pa, put. Incomparably beautiful and powerful lightning struck down. 10 strikes. 20 strikes. 30 strikes. 39 strikes. Yang Dingtian struck down a total of 39 lightning bolts, then all the undead within 1.5 kilometers were wiped out. Then he immediately seized the time and desperately absorbed the profound chi. At this time, the profound chi was even denser. Unfortunately, Yang Dingtian's yin-yang chi transformation technique could no longer refine so much profound chi. Most of the profound chi could only be wasted. Yang Dingtian's chi trembled slightly. 6 hours had passed, and the profound chi had become very thin. Yang Dingtian immediately gave up. Then he continued to swallow the battle profound chi, then continued to go deeper. After going 1.5 kilometers deeper, among the densely packed undead in front of him, 2/3 of them were blue, and the remaining 1/3 were white. The deeper he went, the more powerful the undead became. This time, Yang Dingtian had to release a total of 50 lightning bolts before he was able to kill all the undead creatures. The lightning was still powerful, and the scene was still breathtaking, but Yang Dingtian's heart was already filled with bitterness. Because he could release more than 100 lightning bolts at once. In other words, he could only go 100 kilometers at most. Even if he used up all his profound chi, he wouldn't be able to kill the undead in front of him. Now, Yang Dingtian clearly understood those words. Without a shaman spirit master, it would be difficult to move a single step in the Ghost Hell region. However, Dishi Beauty didn't bring him along to play, so Yang Dingtian could only bitterly move forward. Using the most violent, most direct, most courageous, and most stupid method, he killed his way in. Yang Dingtian had already been in the Ghost Hell region for 20 days. How deep did he go? 100 kilometers, that's right, an entire 100 kilometers. The speed of going deeper became slower and slower and more difficult. There were only 25 days left until the Ghost Hell flame bloomed. According to this speed, when the profound flame bloomed, Yang Dingtian would at most be 200 kilometers deep, which was 3,800 kilometers away from the Ghost Hell city. Yang Dingtian really wanted to cry, but no tears came out. Oh my God! Without a shaman spirit master, it would be difficult to move a single step in the Ghost Hell region. This was the absolute truth. It was a pity that there wasn't a single shaman spirit master in Yang Dingtian's camp. Of course, Yang Dingtian didn't regret not bringing his master, Qin Wanqiu, and the other martial grandmasters. Even if they had brought them, they wouldn't be able to kill the undead creatures here. Perhaps this was very unfair. They were all martial grandmasters, but they couldn't even kill a white undead that wasn't even a Xian martial warrior. However, the undead had something to say. You want to be fair with me? I've already died once, and you want to talk about fairness with me? If you have the ability, then you should also die. If you become an undead, even a half-sage can't kill you. However, there was also good news. Yang Dingtian had already broken through once, becoming a 9th grade 5th grade martial grandmaster. Now, he was at the critical point of breaking through again. Because the yin-yang chi transformation technique could only absorb a limited amount of profound chi, and the amount of profound chi required for each breakthrough was increasing, Yang Dingtian's breakthrough speed became slower. His chi began to expand. Boom! He entered the void again. Yang Dingtian broke through again, from a 9th grade 5th grade martial grandmaster to a 9th grade 6th grade martial grandmaster. Then, facing the empty chi, Yang Dingtian immediately wanted to absorb the battle profound chi. Immediately after, Poise's warnings sounded in his mind. When he was in the void just now, he couldn't hear Poise's voice in his mind. Little Tian, be careful, it's dangerous. Yang Dingtian immediately opened his eyes. Could it be that the Dishi Bien was here again? After opening his eyes, Yang Dingtian felt a prickling sensation on his back. He couldn't help but turn around, and he immediately met more than a dozen pairs of eyes. So many familiar faces. Wu Yuming, Vulture, Lingxi, Yang Jing, and even Song Yu, who he hadn't seen for a few years. Song Yu had changed a lot. Even his beard had grown out. His gaze was full of naked hatred. Of course, Yang Dingtian didn't know half of them. However, from the looks of it, they seemed to be very powerful. As for Yang Dingtian and Wu Yuming, their gazes towards Yang Dingtian became strange and complicated. Wu Yuming said, "Junior brother Yang, we meet again." Yang Dingan said, "Senior brother Wu, I trust you've been well since we last met." Wu Yuming said, "On the way here, we didn't see a single departed soul within 100 li. Were they all killed by you?" Yang Dingtian nodded. Immediately, Wu Yuming's group sucked in a breath of cold air, as if they had a toothache. Then how many did you kill?" Vulture asked. "About 300 to 400,000. Yang Dingtian said. Immediately, Wu Yuming's group felt their toothache become even worse, and they sucked in another breath of cold air. Really fucking awesome. Without a shaman spirit master, it would be difficult to move an inch in the ghost hell region. However, there was someone who actually killed his way into 100 li and killed 300 to 400,000 departed souls. Really fucking awesome. Really violent, really direct. Of course, it was also really stupid. Although they were enemies, Wu Yuming couldn't help but admire him. Perhaps, the total number of departed souls that had died in the ghost hell region didn't even add up to 300 to 400,000. Wu Yuming said, Then are you going to kill your way in?" Yang Dingtian bitterly smiled and said, I don't have a choice. I don't have a shaman spirit master." "Then, do you think you can kill your way in?" Wu Yuming asked. "I can't kill my way in." Yang Dingtian bitterly smiled and said, "When the mystic flame blooms, it would be amazing if I could kill my way into 200 li, so you also know." Wu Yuming secretly said in her heart. Then she looked at Yang Dingan and said, "Then, junior brother Yang, take care of yourself." Then Wu Yuming was about to step forward. "Husband?" Vulture shouted. Her beautiful eyes revealed a complicated expression. Yang Dingtian immediately understood the meaning in Vulture's eyes. This was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Should she take advantage of this opportunity to kill Yang Dingtian and then say that he was killed by departed souls? Yang Dingtian flew into a rage. "A woman's heart is the most poisonous. A woman's heart is the most poisonous." Wu Yuming faintly smiled and then swaggered off. Immediately after, Yang Dingtian clearly saw a very awesome master spirit master and Vulture, a heaven spirit master, instantly summoned several hundred departed souls to protect them. Just like that, they easily entered the ghost hell region. There was no need to kill at all. Yang Dingtian's heart wildly screamed. Others used invisibility to directly enter, but I have to clear my way in. More importantly, I've already cleared 400,000 departed souls. There are still several 100 million departed souls waiting for me. Do you still want me to live? In the ghost hell region, it's impossible to not have a spirit master. Looking at the disappearing figures of Wu Yuming and the others, Yang Dingtian's heart had a desire. "Senior brother Wu, can you bring me along?" Of course, Yang Dingtian did not shout it out. Moreover, shouting was useless. If Dishi Bien did not bring Yang Dingtian, then Wu Yuming would definitely not bring him. Looking at the surrounding dark sky, Yang Dingtian's heart also felt incomparably dark. Of course, some people might say, use invisibility, idiot. Just use invisibility and walk all the way. Yang Dingtian had already tested it. The conclusion was that even a half-saint would not be able to discover Yang Dingtian's invisibility. However, a Xian martial artist departed soul could easily discover the invisible Yang Dingtian. When they saw the invisible Yang Dingtian, they were even more excited. What is going on? How can a ghost easily see through Yang Dingtian's invisibility? Yang Dingtian looked at the sky speechlessly. At this moment, there is really no way to heaven and no door to hell. Then very quickly, Yang Dingtan knew what it meant to have no way to heaven and no door to hell. Because two people came back. One was Ling Shi, the other was Song Yu. Both of them hated Yang Dingtan to the bone. At this moment, their gazes towards Yang Dingtian were filled with malevolence and mockery. Don't worry, Yang Dingtan, we won't kill you. We will only cripple your limbs and castrate your dick. Ling Shi said coldly. Yang Dingtian was shocked to discover that his qi si was completely empty. There was not even a bit of xian qi left. Heavens, this is what it means to have no way to heaven and no door to hell. At this moment, 50 miles away, Huang Yu looked at the empty road and said to Gui Wuzi and the Prime Minister in white in shock, Heavens, who is this? He actually killed all the departed souls along the way. This is too amazing. The Prime Minister in white's expression suddenly changed and said, There is killing intent up ahead. Ah Wu, you protect the princess and stay here. I will go and check it out. Then, the Prime Minister in white rushed forward like lightning. Chapter 642. Seeing Song Yu's head fly straight into the sky, Ling Shi's throat seemed to be strangled as he let out a shrill scream. He truly didn't expect for Yang Dingtian to make a move so suddenly and kill as he wished. He didn't even have the chance to react. Then Yang Dingtian just stared at Ling Shi like that. Ling Shi was filled with endless unwillingness. Like Wu Yuming, he was born noble. His great-grandfather was the sage-to-be Wulingzi, so he was also incomparably proud. He did not put Yang Dingtian in his eyes and regarded him as an ant. Moreover, Yang Dingtian had fallen into his hands twice. The first time was at the Devil's Sea in the extreme south. He broke Yang Dingtian's ribs with a stomp. If Yang Dingtian had not jumped into the sea to survive, Ling Shi would have made him beg for death. The second time was just now. When they were at the Devil's Sea, Yang Dingtian was still not his match. A few days ago, Ling Shi was no longer Yang Dingtian's match. When they were at the Vulture Palace, the two of them had a short fight. Ling Shi was very clear about this. Yang Dingtian was right. His cultivation progress was faster than anyone else. Once he fell behind, he would fall behind forever. He would never be able to catch up with Yang Dingtian's progress. The proud Ling Shi did not want to run away. But now, facing Yang Dingtian, he had no chance of turning the tables. Therefore, Ling Shi chose to run away quickly. He used all his mystical qi to run into the cave. As long as he ran to Wu Yoming's side, he would not die. Run, run, run with all his might. However, after running for a few dozen meters, Ling Shi found that his body was completely immobile. Even the mystical qi in his body was completely frozen. The devil spirit fiend fire had another heaven-defying effect, which was to immobilize the body. Yang Dingtian, a 9-star grandmaster, easily immobilized the 6-star Ling Shi. Then, Yang Dingtian slowly walked to Ling Shi and said slowly, I'll undo your immobilization. Don't run, okay? Then, Yang Dingtian undid his immobilization. As expected, Ling Shi stood in the same place, not daring to move. Yang Dingtian scratched his head and said, Dishi Bien is inside? Ling Shi nodded. Yang Dingtian continued to ask, Wu Yuming and several other grandmasters, are they all chasing her? Ling Shi nodded again. Yang Dingtian said, I think your people are really shameless. Your Vulture Palace owes Dishi family a favor. Ling Xi's face was ugly as he said, Old ancestor said before, if gods block, kill gods. Buddha blocks, kill Buddha. Yang Dingtian said, but, if that's the case, Wu Yuming would have exposed her mask of hypocrisy. He went in the name of hunting for hell magic crystals. Then, the grandmasters of the Nether Sea will kill Dishi Bien and pretend to kill him accidentally, Ling Shi said. Then Yang Dingtian immediately turned invisible and went deep into the cave. Dishi Bien. It's up to the heavens whether I can save you or not. It was a very, very deep cave. No wonder no one could hear Ling Shi's screams from above. Yang Dingtian kept going deeper and deeper. He had not reached the bottom even after tens of thousands of meters. However, all the dead souls along the way had been killed. Finally, after he went more than 30,000 meters underground, Yang Dingtian saw a huge cave. There was a bottomless abyss under the ground, and a disgusting green liquid was surging in the abyss. There was a platform above the abyss. At the end of the platform stood the beautiful Lung Ao and Dishi Bien. Several grandmasters and grandmasters from the Sea of Hades had completely surrounded her. Wu Yuming looked at her and said indifferently, "Miss Dishi, hand over the hell magic crystal and we'll let you live." Dishi Bien said, "Impossible." Wu Yuming said, "I know that the Vulture Palace and the Dishi clan had an agreement. The previous Netherworld Ghost Flame belonged to Ancestor Wulingzi, and this one belongs to your Dishi clan. However, no one thought that a Heaven Spirit Master would appear in the Vulture Palace. So, we really can't let you have this mystic fire." Dishi Bien was indifferent. Wu Yuming said, "Miss Dishi, the mystic fire has no owner. But the best way is to give it to the person who needs it the most. The Netherworld Ghost Flame can only display its greatest effect on Vulture. So, to keep the agreement at this time is a kind of ignorance and foolishness." Dishi Bien still ignored her. "Everyone has a selfish side." Wu Yuming said indifferently, "I love my wife, so I have to do some things for her that I don't want to do. I'm sorry." Immediately, Vulture looked at Wu Yuming with eyes full of love and affection. "For the Netherworld mystic fire, for my wife, I have to make a move." Wu Yuming said indifferently, "Go." Suddenly, the three grandmasters from the Sea of Nether charged forward. Dishi Bien fought with the 6 masters from the Netherworld Sea alone. At this time, Wu Yuming didn't make a move. Dishi Bien was going to fight the 6 of them alone. Silence, Miao Ju, and Luo Ming were all masters. The remaining 3, including Yang Zheng, were all masters. This time, for the Netherworld Ghost Flame, nearly half of the masters from the Netherworld Sea were mobilized. Among them, Nirvana was a 6-star Great Master. And Dishi Bien was a 4-star Master. He was at a disadvantage fighting the 6 of them alone. Not only was Silence from the Netherworld Sea a 6-star Master, but he was also a wizard. His walking stick was suddenly raised. "Dishi Bien, as the Master of the Imperial Tomb, you are the king of the underground tomb. You didn't expect to die in the biggest tomb, right?" Silence laughed. Then, the endless green abyss below began to boil. The disgusting green liquid began to condense and condense. It condensed into an incomparably huge, disgusting and powerful venomous undead creature. The venomous undead creature's head emitted a blood-red energy light. This was a venomous undead fog at the master level. And it was a top-notch venomous undead at the master level. In such an environment, the great wizard could summon an undead creature that was countless times stronger than other places. All of a sudden, this 10-meter-tall venomous undead creature howled and dashed towards Dishi Bien to devour him. Dishi Bien was already at a disadvantage. Now that Silence had summoned such a powerful venomous undead creature, wouldn't she die without a doubt? However, Dishi Bien smiled faintly and said, Then, a ghostly shadow soul suddenly appeared from her body and drilled into the body of the huge undead creature. Then, the huge venomous undead creature suddenly burst out with an incomparably dark light. The incomparably huge and terrifying body instantly turned from green to black. Then, it pounced crazily towards Silence and the others. Silence shouted, "How is this possible? How is this possible? How can you control the undead creature I summoned?" Dishi Bien said, "I'm not a wizard at all. I don't have the talent of psychic communication. But, can my martial spirit control any undead creature?" "Impossible." Silence said. "Except for wizards, no one can control undead creatures." Silence said, "Martial spirits are even more impossible." Dishi Bien said coldly, "Because my martial spirit is all the souls of my ancestors. After I die, I will also become a part of my martial spirit and possess my descendants." Once these words came out, everyone was shocked. Including Yang Dingtian, he was completely shocked. Dishi Bien's martial spirit was actually her mother's, all the souls of her ancestors. No wonder she could control any undead creature. The souls of the Dishi clan had been condensed for thousands of years. How powerful was that? No wonder Dishi Bien actually had the 9 meridians. This 9 meridians was not innate, but condensed from the souls of the Dishi clan generation after generation. Dishi Bien was originally at a disadvantage. But with the help of this terrifying venomous undead creature, the situation was reversed in an instant. From being on the verge of death, he had the upper hand. Therefore, Dishi Bien really had to thank Silence Elder. If he did not summon the venomous undead creature, Dishi Bien would not be able to turn the tables. This huge venomous undead creature suddenly split into 5. And the color also changed from red to purple. This venomous undead creature was originally a top Grandmaster level, but after splitting into 5, it became a top Grandmaster level. Instantly, Dishi Bien's side also became 6. 6 against 6. Swish swish, Dishi Bien's sword was like lightning. In an instant, a Grandmaster from the Netherworld Sea was instantly smashed to death. Immediately after, Dishi Bien's beautiful body suddenly slashed. Immediately, another Grandmaster from the Netherworld Sea was instantly split into 2. Yang Dingdun was watching from the side, stunned. Perhaps he did not even need to make a move. Dishi Bien alone could deal with all of them. If Dishi Bien could kill everyone from the Netherworld Sea present, that would be the best. Therefore, Yang Dingtian decided to watch from the sidelines. If he went up at this time, if he was treated as an enemy by Dishi Bien and killed together, that would be too unjust. When Silence Elder summoned the undead to fight, he was extremely happy. Now, he had really tasted the bitterness. These damn undead creatures were completely immune to all damage. Whether it was mystic skills, sword beams, or swords, they could not cause any harm to it. After that huge venomous undead creature split into 5, it naturally became much weaker. However, the Netherworld Sea side could only be suppressed. However, there was an exception. That was actually Yang Zheng. That venomous undead creature was actually helpless against him. It was very difficult to get close to him. Every time it attacked, it would be bounced back. The reason was very simple. It was because Yang Zheng had the evil spirit energy and soul congregation shadow. After Dishi Bien killed the 2 Grandmasters, his gaze immediately fell on the Grandmaster with the lowest cultivation in the Netherworld Sea, Elder Miaojue. Immediately, 2 venomous undead creatures and Dishi Bien surrounded Elder Miaojue. In an instant, Elder Miaojue was surrounded by danger. Wu Yoming's expression changed drastically. She really did not expect that such a thing would happen. "Husband, quickly kill this woman." Vulture shouted loudly. Wu Yuming gritted her teeth, pulled out her sharp sword and slashed out. But a huge bolt of lightning struck down. In an instant, a venomous undead creature turned into ashes. Wu Yoming's lightning came from the lightning talisman and the Thousand-Year Owl's demon core. Especially the Thousand-Year Owl's demon core. The lightning energy inside was limited. Every time it was used, it would be used up. Therefore, unless it was absolutely necessary, Wu Yuming was really unwilling to use lightning. But now, there was no doubt that it was absolutely necessary. It did not matter if the other elders of the Netherworld Sea died, but if Great Elder Jimye died, then it would be troublesome. He was the only great wizard in the team. Pa 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 pa. Wu Yuming felt as if her heart was being cut by a knife as she struck out bolts of lightning. After this, how much lightning energy would be left in the Thousand-Year Owl's demon core? Of course, her lightning energy was much weaker than Yang Dingtian's. But it was enough to kill these venomous undead creatures. 5 bolts of lightning struck the 5 venomous undead creatures and scattered their souls. Then, a ghost suddenly returned to Dishi Bien's body. Wu Yuming looked at Dishi Bien and said indifferently, "Miss Dishi, I'm sorry. Your Dishi clan will be exterminated today." Then, Wu Yuming slowly joined the battle. After Yang Zheng retreated, the 4 Grandmasters of the Netherworld Sea surrounded Dishi Bien. If Yang Dingtian did not save her, she would definitely die. But how to save her? There were 4 Grandmasters on the other side. She would not only fail to save her, but also lose her own life? Go invisible and snatch her away directly? It seemed feasible, but it was absolutely impossible. Invisibility mystic skill was only invisibility, but not true disappearance. As long as Wu Yuming blocked the passage, Yang Dingtian would not be able to escape even if he was invisible. And the moment Dishi Bian was pulled into the isolated space, Wu Yuming would instantly discover him. Then Yang Dingtian would be finished. How to save her? How to save her? Yang Dingtian's heart was burning with anxiety. Then, his gaze suddenly fell on Vulture. Got it, got it? Chapter 643. After the 5 venomous undead creatures were destroyed, Dishi Bian immediately fell into a disadvantageous position. After Wu Yuming joined the battle, she was instantly on the verge of death. Swish! Wu Yuming's sword flashed. In an instant, it slashed Dishi Bian's chest. Dishi Bian spat out a mouthful of blood. Her beautiful and delicate body flew out like a flower petal. Wu Yuming's words were gentle, but her attack was extremely ruthless. Dishi Bian's face was originally pale, but now it was even paler and transparent. She used all her strength to float in the air and said to Wu Yuming, "Okay, before I die, I want to ask you one thing." "Say it," Wu Yuming said. "Whether it's your sword or your hands, don't touch me. Let me be myself, okay?" Dishi Bian said. "But," Wu Yuming said. Dishi Bian was straightforward and decisive. She waved her sword and was about to commit suicide. "Hold it." Right at this moment, Yang Dingtian yelled out. In an instant, he suddenly appeared behind Vulture. Like lightning, he placed his sword on little Princess Vulture's neck. Then he said to Wu Yuming, let's make a deal. Yes, Yang Dingtian's method was to take little Princess Vulture as a hostage. Then, everyone at the scene was stunned. But the most shocking thing was undoubtedly little Princess Vulture. Before, how close was her relationship with Yang Dingtian? How much did Yang Dingtian love her? How much did he dote on her? He completely treated her as his own sister. Not to mention hurting her, even if others wanted to hurt her, Yang Dingtian would run out and fight for his life. At this time, the man who used to dote on her incomparably actually put his sword on her neck to save another woman. Little Princess Spiritual Vulture believed that she was already mentally prepared for this situation. But when it really happened, his entire chest was still filled with suffocating pain and discomfort. This heart-wrenching pain made it almost impossible for her to breathe. This was because even though Yang Dingtian had fallen out with her, even though they were on opposite sides, Yang Dingtian had never hurt her, not even verbally. Therefore, even though the two of them were already opposing each other, the little Princess Spirit Vulture's heart still had this kind of psychological inertia and psychological misconception that Yang Dingtian was still concerned about her and loved her dearly. Now, Yang Dingtian had placed the treasured sword on her neck, immediately shattering her fanciful thoughts and illusions. "Brother Netherworld, the Dishi family has been kind to you. I don't think it's good for you to turn against them like this, to bite the hand that feeds you," said Yang Dingtian. Wu Yuming looked at Yang Dingtian, her expression quickly changing from shock to indifference. Without a doubt, Yang Dingtian had come in invisibly. "Brother Yang, do you know what you're doing?" asked Wu Yuming coldly. "Of course I do," said Yang Dingtian. "To be honest, I hesitated for a long time before I decided to do this." Wu Yuming asked, "Where are Song Yu and Lingxi?" Yang Dingtian said, "I killed Song Yu, and Lingxi has become a walking corpse?" Wu Yuming's eyes suddenly trembled as she said, "Yang Dingtian, do you know what you've done? You've killed 2 people, one from the Netherworld Sea, and the other from the Vulture Palace." "Of course I know," said Yang Dingtian. "Since I've done it, I won't be afraid of the consequences. In the Vulture Palace, in front of Wu Lingxi, I've already said that if Lingxi is alone, I'll definitely kill him. Wu Yuming, there's no such thing in this world, right? If I'm alone in their hands, they'll harm me, but if they're in my hands, I can't harm them. Your Vulture Palace and the Netherworld Sea can't be so tyrannical. Fool, do you know the consequences of your actions?" Wu Yuming slowly said, word by word. "It's nothing more than a war," Yang Dingtian said indifferently. "I can't bear the consequences of starting a war with the Vulture Palace and the Netherworld Sea. But can your Vulture Palace and the Netherworld Sea bear the consequences?" "Yang Dingtian, kill me if you can." Little Princess Vulture, who was being held hostage by Yang Dingtian, suddenly said coldly, If you don't dare to kill me, you're the son of a whore. Yang Dingtian grabbed onto her chin and pulled forcefully. Immediately, her jawbone was ripped off, causing her to be unable to speak. Originally, Yang Dingtian wanted to directly knock her out. However, it was better for little Princess Vulture to be awake. This way Wu Yuming would still feel some pressure. Wu Yuming needed a certain amount of camouflage. After the little Princess Vulture's chin was dislocated, she was instantly enraged and struggled with all her might. She completely disregarded Yang Dingtian's sword on her neck and turned around abruptly, wanting to fight Yang Dingtian to the death. Yang Dingtian moved like lightning again, pulling little Princess Vulture's arm and dislocating it. Little Princess Vulture, whose jaw was dislocated, let out a strange scream from her throat. Tears surged out of her eyes, and her two arms fell to the sides. Then she was about to kick fiercely with her legs. Don't force me to break your legs. I'm a man of my word, Yang Dingtian said coldly. Then he kicked little Princess Vulture's leg bones with the tip of his foot. Little Princess Vulture screamed. Her whole face was distorted from the pain, and her whole body was trembling. Her two legs were completely trembling, and she was about to collapse. Wu Yuming, let him go, Yang Dingtian said slowly. If you let him go, I'll let him go. Wu Yuming's face began to twitch, and she began to tremble. If Yang Dingtian knocked little Princess Vulture unconscious, then everything would be easy. He would just have to endure it. Anyway, Yang Dingtian would not dare to kill little Princess Vulture. In the Vulture Palace, the status of Lingxi and little Princess Vulture were completely different. Lingxi had used almost all of his power to pave the way for little Princess Vulture. The Devil Spirit Fog Cloak, Devil Spirit Black Armor, they were all prepared for little Princess Vulture. Therefore, if Lingxi was killed, Lingxi would not necessarily start a war with the Council of Light. However, if little Princess Vulture was killed, then Lingxi would lose all hope for the future. He would definitely go completely crazy and destroy everything. Therefore, Wu Yuming knew clearly that Yang Dingtian would not dare to kill little Princess Vulture. At this moment, although little Princess Vulture was in so much pain that she wished she was dead, she was still looking at everything with her eyes wide open. Usually, Wu Yuming would show incomparable gentleness and love. If she hesitated at this moment, she would be seen as someone who did not love little Princess Vulture. What he should do was to pay any price to not let little Princess Vulture suffer any harm. Therefore, at this moment, he must not show any hesitation or negotiation. Otherwise, once little Princess Vulture felt his disguise, then there would be a fatal crack between him and the Vulture Palace. Okay, I agree. Wu Yuming said with heartache and pain. Yang Dingtian, you win, I'll let her go. Wu Yuming was Wu Yuming. Once a decision was made, she would definitely not bargain or drag her feet. That's fine. Yang Dingtian said, Miss Dishi, come over. Dishi Bian directly flew over from the sky, over the heads of Wu Yuming and the others, and stood beside Yang Dingtian. You guys just stand here and don't move. I'll let little Princess Vulture send me a few hundred miles away. Yang Dingtian said, Don't worry, she is a celestial spirit master. The undead cannot hurt her. After saying that, Yang Dingtian held little Princess Vulture hostage and quickly escaped from the cave with Dishi Bian. Next, Yang Dingtian brought little Princess Vulture and quickly left with Dishi Bian. With Dishi Bian, it was indeed different. Although she was not a celestial spirit master, she was better than a celestial spirit master. In her body, she had all the souls of her ancestors and could control any undead. Therefore, Yang Dingtian was finally able to enjoy the feeling of rampaging through the undead army. Along the way, Yang Dingtian had killed his way in. This time, he directly drove in. This feeling was too good, and it really made Yang Dingtian feel like crying. He ran for 300 to 400 miles. Yang Dingtian listened and helped little Princess Vulture to fix the joints of her arms. Then, he said to her, You just wait here for your husband, I'll take my leave. Princess Vulture couldn't speak, but her eyes stared at Yang Dingtian, revealing a deep-seated hatred. Yang Dingtian said, You should be mentally prepared for today's scene, right? Then, Yang Dingtan ignored Vulture and said to Dishi Bien, "Let's go." After hearing this, Dishi Bien directly headed in the direction of the Netherworld Ghost City. Yang Dingtian quickly followed, and in the blink of an eye, they disappeared without a trace. Then, Vulture's tears surged out. She didn't know why. She was really sad, so sad that it was as if someone had used a sharp spoon to cut out her heart bit by bit. Yang Dingen, I will definitely make you regret this. I will definitely make you regret this. Vulture said over and over in her heart. At this time, she felt that she was being stared at by countless green eyes. When she looked up, she suddenly saw countless undead staring at her. Suddenly, she felt her hair stand on end. Ah, she screamed from the bottom of her throat. Although she was a celestial spirit master, and although she had always been fearless, most of the time she was a fox using the tiger's might to intimidate others. She had never seen so many ghosts. And at this time, it was as if she was the only one in the whole world. Suddenly, she was scared out of her wits. Her pants became hot, and she directly peed. "Miss Dishi, why were you chased by Wu Yuming in that cave?" Yang Dingtian asked. "That was the hell magic crystal," Dishi Bien said. Then, she covered her chest and spat out another mouthful of blood. Her face became even paler, and even her lips were pale. Yang Dingtian entered the space ring to check the holy water pills. Heaven take, there were only 5 left. Yang Dingtian was extremely reluctant. He gritted his teeth and took out 1 pill. He handed it to Dishi Bien and said, "This is the holy water pill, take it." "Oh," Dishi Bien said. She directly took it and took it. Then, she sat down cross-legged and began to dissolve the medicine. After a short 15 minutes, her complexion became much better. Although she was still snow-white, she was no longer as scary as before. "This medicine of yours is very powerful. It can almost bring the dead back to life," Dishi Bien said. "Yes, I stole it from the ancient secret realm," Yang Dingtian said. "Stole?" Dishi Bien was startled. "In the ancient secret realm, one could steal things?" "Oh right, you still haven't answered my question," Yang Dingtian said. "I'm going to hunt for hell magic crystals," Dishi Bien said. "Hell magic crystals? What are they for?" Yang Dingtian asked. Dishi Bien was startled. "You don't know about hell magic crystals?" "I don't know," Yang Dingtian said. "Then what did you come to the ghost hell region for?" Dishi Bien asked. "Is this thing very important?" Yang Dingtian asked. "Without hell magic crystals, how are you going to enter the ghost hell city?" Dishi Bien asked. Yang Dingtian was startled. Without hell magic crystals, one couldn't enter the ghost hell city? He really didn't know. It was clear that his master, Dongfang Minmi, Qin Wanchou, and the others also didn't know. Even Queen Poisa didn't know. In fact, only spiritualists knew about this, and only spiritualists who had entered the ghost hell city. "Can we directly use spiritualists to control and summon undead?" Yang Dingtian asked. Dishi Bien said, "There are many scholar-level and martial grandmaster undead, as well as half-step sage and saint undead monarchs. Spiritualists can't control them." "That's right, spiritualists could indeed summon powerful undead, especially in an illusion like the ghost hell region. For example, as a 6-star spiritualist, Nirvana could control 9-star 9th grade martial grandmaster undead, but he was completely powerless against half-step sage undead." "Then what about you?" Yang Dingtian asked. "You have an ancestor's soul in your body. Can you control undead monarchs?" Dishi Bien shook his head and said, "The martial soul in my body is forcibly controlled, so I can only control undead that are 1 level lower than me." Yang Dingtian asked, "Then what class is the martial soul in your body?" "Saint level," Yang Dingtian said. Yang Dingtian sucked in a breath of cold air. Saint level martial soul? But thinking about it, it was normal. There must have been a saint level expert in the Dishi clan's ancestor. Then if you use your martial soul to fight, wouldn't you be invincible?" Yang Dingtian asked. "My martial soul is saint level, but its combat strength is completely limited by my own cultivation, so it can only display the strength of a 4-star martial grandmaster." Dishi Bien said. "However, it can control half-step sage undead." That's why Wu Yuming was so afraid of me and wanted to kill me outside. No wonder. Once Dishi Bien entered the ghost hell region, what if she found a half-step sage undead and controlled it? Would Wu Yuming still be able to survive? Then Yang Dingtian was speechless again. This Dishi Bien was really amazing. Although her martial soul wasn't a sword soul, it wasn't far off. Other people's martial souls were basically unable to grow, but this woman's martial soul could grow along with her cultivation. Once Dishi Bien broke through to the half-step sage level, it meant that she was equivalent to 2 half-step sage experts. Suddenly, Yang Dingtian looked at Dishi Bien with eyes full of passion. He couldn't wait to grab her hand and say, "Young lady, come with me and join my Council of Light." "Well, Lady Dishi, if I invited you to join the Council of Light, would you agree?" Yang Dingtian asked. Dishi Bien lightly shook her head. Yang Dingtian asked, "Then if I asked you to bring me into the Ghost Hell City, would you agree?" Dishi Bien nodded. Yang Dingtian let out a long breath of relief. This Lady Dishi might be a little cold, but she was still better than Dugu Fengwu. At least she had a little conscience. Dugu Fengwu was so heartless. You risked your life to save her 2 or 3 times, and she turned around and killed you without hesitation. She was so vicious and merciless. Then may I ask Lady Dishi, the number of half-step sage experts in this world can be counted with one hand, and there isn't even a single sage expert. Why are there so many Grandmaster undead spirits, half-step sage undead spirits, and even sage undead monarchs in this ghost hell city? Aren't these undead spirits even stronger than the human kingdoms? Yang Dingtian asked. Dishi Bien indifferently said, because for the past 1,000 years, the ghosts that died with resentment have been attracted to this place. Yang Dingtian immediately understood. So that's why. No wonder there were billions of undead spirits on this land of over 10 million square kilometers. This world didn't have such a crowded land with so many people. It turned out that this was a kingdom that specialized in undead spirits. Then what is the specific use of the Hell Magic Crystal? Why can we enter the Ghost Hell City by using the Hell Magic Crystal? Yang Dingtian asked. Because when the Ghost Hell fire blooms, it is the time of the Ghost Hell City's grand gathering. All the high-level undead spirits will come to enjoy the energy released by the Ghost Hellfire. Dishi Bien said, other than undead spirits, there are also some underground creatures called Shura. They can also join this group. Using the Hell Magic Crystal, you can disguise yourself as an infernal Shura and enter the Ghost Hell City. Yang Dinghan was stunned and said, "So it is like this? Do you need us to disguise ourselves as an infernal Shura?" Dishi Bien helplessly looked at Yang Dinghan and said, "No need, because the undead spirits use their eyes to smell, not to see." "Oh, then did you enter the cave to hunt for the Hell Magic Crystal?" Yang Dingtian asked. "Yeah." Dishi Bien said. "Then did you get it?" Yang Dingtian asked. "I got it, but it was only a blue one." Dishi Bien said. "Then do we need a red one to enter the Ghost Hell City?" Yang Dingtian asked. Because Dishi Bien had just said that one needed to be at least a martial grandmaster undead to enter the Ghost Hell City. In this place, red energy represented martial grandmaster undead. Red is barely enough, but to be on the safe side, we need a golden one. Dishi Bien said, because of the undead, the infernal Shura were discriminated against. Therefore, one needs to be a quasi-saint Shura to enter the Ghost Hell City and enjoy the feast. Yang Dingtian was speechless. Even after death, there was still discrimination in hell. Then where did these hell magic crystals come from? Yang Dingtian asked. The Shura race wantonly devour the underground aura of the Ghost Hell City and condense it into hell magic crystals in their bodies. Therefore, as long as one hunts the underground Shura race, one can obtain hell magic crystals. Are the infernal Shura race all in the depths of the cave? Yang Dingtian asked. Yes. Dishi Bien said. Yang Dingtian said, then may I ask, like the blue hell magic crystals you got, how many do you need to refine into a golden hell magic crystal? 100,000. Dishi Bien said. Yang Dingtian almost spat out a mouthful of blood. Sister Bien, why didn't you say so earlier? You made me kill the undead every day for the past 20 days, and I still haven't gotten a single hell magic crystal. Chapter 644. Miss Dishi, can I ask you how many hell magic crystals you've hunted? Yang Dingtian asked. 1 purple hell magic crystal, Dishi Bien said. If one wanted to enter the Netherworld Ghost City, they needed a golden hell magic crystal. Only then could they pass themselves off as a half-sage Shura and obtain the qualifications to enter the Netherworld Ghost City. Do you need 10 red hell magic crystals to refine 1 golden hell magic crystal? Yang Dingtian asked. Yes, Dishi Bien said. Yang Dingtian clicked his tongue. In other words, 10 purple hell magic crystals were needed to refine 1 red hell magic crystal, and 100 purple hell magic crystals were needed to refine 1 golden hell magic crystal. In other words, Dishi Bien had only completed 1% of the hell magic crystal. More than 10 days had passed, and Dishi Bien, a 4-star martial grandmaster with a heaven-defying martial soul, had only completed 1% of the hell magic crystal. Why is your progress so slow? Yang Dingtian asked. Because I've entered many caves, and all the Shura have been killed, Dishi Bien said. Who killed them? Of course, it was Huang Yu's team and Wu Yoming's team. They should have been in here for more than 10 days, but they hadn't met Yang Dingtian until yesterday. Moreover, they hadn't entered directly. Instead, they had searched for caves and hunted the Shura inside. Yang Dingtian finally understood why Wu Yuming had brought so many experts. In addition to dealing with their own kind, they had also helped hunt the Shura. Subsequently, the situation that Yang Dingtian and Dishi Bien were facing was even more severe because there were 2 groups of people who were crazily hunting the infernal Azura race in the underground cave. The strength of these 2 groups of people was much stronger than Yang Dingtian's side, and it was best that they didn't encounter each other. Therefore, it was getting harder and harder for Yang Dingtian and Dishi Bien to refine a golden hell magic crystal. Yang Dingtian asked, 200 years ago, Dishi Luo and Tian Lingzi drew lots. Was it because they only had 1 hell magic crystal, and only 1 person could enter the Netherworld Ghost City? Dishi Bien nodded. So it was like that. Yang Dingan said, then let's go look for the next Shura cave. Dishi Bien nodded and took out a map. It was a map of the entire Netherworld Ghost domain. Of course, only about 1/3 of the map was clearly marked. Only the eastern side was clear, and about half of the southern side was clear. The rest was covered in fog. Was this map drawn by your ancestor, Shi Luo? Yang Dingtian asked. Yes. Dishi Bien said, not only Dishi Luo, but also my ancestor from 200 years ago. Does Wu Yuming have the same map? Yang Dingtian asked. Almost, but not exactly. Dishi Bien said, Wulingzi also entered the Netherworld Ghost City from the east, so he is more clear about the Shura cave in the east. Wulingzi doesn't know about the southern part, so Wu Yuming also doesn't know. Next, they definitely couldn't meet Wu Yoming's group. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to keep their lives. And the only way to avoid meeting them was to leave the eastern area and go to the southern area. Then let's go to the south and hunt the Shura? Yang Dingtian asked. But Dishi Bien said. Then, Yang Dingtian and Dishi Bien used their full speed to head south. At this moment, Yang Dingtian was even more aware of how powerful Dishi Bien was. Even when facing countless undead spirits, it was as if he was in an unstoppable state. She didn't even need to summon the souls of her ancestors. She only needed to pass by, and countless undead would quickly avoid her, as if they were very afraid of her aura. After all, she was the overlord of the underground tomb. Just like that, the 2 of them headed south. After walking for a full 2,000 miles, they finally reached the southern part of the Ghost Hell region. Along the way, they found hundreds of Shura caves. Yang Dingtian was a little restless, planning to enter and hunt, but Dishi Bien didn't hesitate and left directly. Without a doubt, Dishi Bien's method was right. Because not long after, Wu Yoming's team madly chased after them, not letting any of the Shura caves on the map go. If Yang Dingtian and Dishi Bien were really greedy and entered the caves to hunt, they would be blocked, and there would be no one to help them. And the southern area was a mystery to Wu Yuming. He didn't know the distribution of Shura caves there. So even if he wanted to kill Dishi Bien and destroy Yang Dingtian, hunting for hell magic crystals was more important. He would definitely choose the latter. Dishi Bien was decisive, calm, and clear. Although he didn't like to talk, his mind was indeed very far-sighted. They arrived at the southern part of the Ghost Hell region. Soon, Dishi Bien and Yang Dingtian arrived at the first Shura cave marked on the map. The two of them directly entered. "Miss Dishi, is there anything we need to pay attention to when entering the Shura caves?" Yang Dingtian asked. Dishi Bien shook his head. "These caves are fixed. Wouldn't they be hunted every 200 years? Wouldn't they be empty now?" Yang Dingtian asked. Dishi Bien said, "These caves are the places with the densest netherworld energy. Countless underground Shura tribes will continuously come here." "Oh, I understand," Yang Dingtian said. "I've seen Hell Shura before. They have boundless strength and are impervious to swords and spears." Dishi Bien said, "Shura tribe is a general term for underground monsters. You're talking about the king of Shura strength. It's best if we don't meet him." "I think so too," Yang Dingtian said, "but Miss Dishi, is there really nothing I need to pay attention to when entering the Shura caves?" "Maybe, there is one thing you need to pay attention to." Dishi Bien looked at Yang Dingtian. "Say it," Yang Dingtian said seriously. "Can you not talk so much?" Dishi Bien said. Yang Dingtian was very embarrassed. After entering the cave, they saw many undead creatures one after another. Dishi Bien didn't pay any attention to him, directly rushing in like a bolt of lightning. As a result, the undead creatures on the way were scared out of their wits and ran away like lightning. They kept going deeper. When they entered 100 meters into the cave, Yang Dingtian suddenly saw a pair of blood-red eyes. Then, an incomparably ferocious three-headed hellhound fiercely rushed towards the two of them. "Miss Dishi, is this the Shura tribe?" Yang Dingtian was overjoyed. Obviously, although Dishi Bien didn't answer with her charming little mouth, she answered with her actions. Shwa! A beam of sword light flashed out, directly smashing that three-headed hell dog into pieces. Afterward, a blue stream of light drifted out from its dead body. Shur flashed across like a bolt of lightning, collecting this blue stream of light into a bone box. This speed is too fast." Subsequently, Yang Dingtian saw a lot of Hell Azura race in succession. At first, it was just one by one, but later on, it was a group of them. Yang Dingtian was full of joy for the upcoming harvest. After all, the more Shura beasts there were, the better. Every one of them meant hell magic crystals. However, every time he attacked, he failed. Because Dishi Bien was too fast. She advanced like lightning, killed like lightning, and collected like lightning. She didn't give Yang Dingtian the slightest chance. Yang Dingtian looked at her graceful and beautiful back and secretly said, "Miss, although you look like Xiao Longnu, when you are fighting, you are very straightforward. But when it comes to kill stealing, it's really direct and not polite at all." Just like this, they went deeper, deeper, deeper. They went a full 30,000 meters. There were over 100 Shura beasts, half of them white, half blue. They were all collected by Dishi Bien, and Yang Dingtian didn't get a single one. It wasn't that Yang Dingtian was being polite. At first, he was very apologetic. Later, he found that the girl was so straightforward, so he was realistic and fought to be the first to hunt. In the end, his speed was not as fast as hers. Even if there was only one of them, he could still kill 10 of them in an instant. Yang Dingtian risked his life and could only eat her fart behind her back. Of course, such a stunning beauty didn't fart during the whole process, as if she didn't eat the mortal world. And looking at this girl's posture, she definitely didn't look like she was going to share the hell magic crystals with Yang Dingtian. She was a complete monster snatcher. At this time, Yang Dingtian really wanted to leave her and hunt alone. But he thought that once he went out, he had to clear all the undead. Otherwise, it would be difficult to move an inch. Sigh. No harvest, so be it. Yang Dingtian sighed. Later, he simply didn't do anything and just followed Dishi Bien behind. He hoped that the great beauty Dishi, Her Excellency Xiao Longnu of the Chaos World, could be kind and let Yang Dingtian have a taste of the soup. Just like this, they went deeper and deeper. They went a full 30,000 meters underground. Then, there was an incomparably huge abyss in front of them. Below, there was still rolling hell magic magma. In this cave, which was the size of a few football fields, there wasn't a single hell Shura beast. Seeing Yang Dingtian's bitter face, Dishi Bian turned her head and the corner of her mouth twitched. She wanted to laugh, but she couldn't. The women of the Dishi clan couldn't laugh. If they did, it would be frivolous. Next, there will be many hell beasts. Kill as many as you can, Dishi Bian said. Yang Dingtian was stunned. Why are you so generous? Because the time to kill is very short. After a while, they will all run away. It's impossible to kill them all, Dishi Bian said. Then, Dishi Bian summoned a soul-like light that covered her whole body. She said, "This is my ancestors' undead light. Stay close to me and don't leave the light. Otherwise, you will be entangled by countless hell beasts. No matter how high your cultivation is, you will die." But Yang Dingtian hurriedly approached. Also, don't get too close, Dishi Bian said. Yang Dingtian took a few more steps back. Dishi Bian grabbed a handful of blue hell magic crystals from the skeleton box and suddenly sprinkled them in the air above the abyss. Then, an incomparably shocking scene appeared. Countless. There were really countless hellhounds and some other hell beasts flying out of the abyss and pouncing on the hell magic crystals floating in the air. Almost at the same time, countless disgusting hell beasts jumped out of the green hell magic magma. They were densely packed and everywhere. Don't leave my side. Kill as many as you can. They will run away soon, Dishi Bian said and then rushed forward like lightning. Yang Dingnan suddenly said, "Miss Dishi, kill as many as you can, right?" "Of course. They will return to the abyss in less than a quarter of an hour," Dishi Bian said and then she killed as fast as lightning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 30, 50. Seeing Yang Dingtian still standing there without moving, Dishi Bian frowned and said, "Why aren't you making a move? Don't blame me for snatching them from you." "Okay, let's make a move." Suddenly, Yang Dingtian's hands danced wildly and countless devil sky-splitting lightning bolts burst out. Pa 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 pa. In an instant, dozens of lightning bolts flew out. Then the entire sky above the abyss was covered in lightning. The entire cave was as bright as day. Countless lightning bolts crazily struck the innumerable hell beasts. All of the hellish beasts were frozen in midair, trembling and shrieking in agony. Half a minute later, bang 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 bang. All the hell beasts in sight were smashed into pieces. Then, countless white and blue hell crystals floated into the air. Dishi Bian was completely stunned. She looked at all this in disbelief. There were countless hell beasts here. Her speed was considered fast, but she only killed 50 of them. Then, the rest were all killed by Yang Dingtian alone. Previously, she couldn't kill 1/10 of them even at her fastest speed. The remaining 90% escaped. Right now, Yang Dingtian was able to kill all of them by himself. Yang Dingtian was ecstatic. Looking at Dishi Bian, he was secretly happy. "Miss, you also have a day like this? You had fun snatching monsters just now. Now, let me tell you, this is real snatching monsters." Dishi Bian immediately frowned. Yang Dingtian was proud and embarrassed as he said, "Young lady, you're the one who asked me to kill as many as I can?" Dishi Bian coldly snorted, turned around, ignored him, and left. Yang Dingtian flew into the air and used his fastest speed to collect all the hell crystals and put them into the interspatial ring. Of course, because there were too many of them, Yang Dingtian spent a few minutes even though he was fast. Yang Dingtian didn't have time to count his gains and quickly chased after her. This girl wouldn't be so narrow-minded that she ran away, right? Yang Dingtian wanted to cry but had no tears. Without Dishi Bian, he wouldn't even be able to reach the edge of the Netherworld Ghost City. Fortunately, at the entrance of the cave, Yang Dingtian saw Dishi Bian. She was standing at the entrance with her back facing Yang Ding. Behind Dishi Bian, Yang Dingtian took out all the hell crystals from the interspatial ring and used his Xian Qi to squeeze them into a ball. Immediately, they turned into an incomparably resplendent ball of light. He handed it to Dishi Bian and said, "Here, for you. This is yours, I don't want it." Dishi Bien turned her head and said, I'm giving it to you to keep and refine. Yang Dingtian said, finally, if you can refine 2 golden crystals, the 2 of us will go in. If there's only 1, then you go in, okay? I don't need it. Dishi Bien said, I'll kill enough on my own. Don't be so arrogant. Yang Dingtian pushed her over and said, if you don't take it, I'll touch your hand. Dishi Bien jumped in fright and hurriedly held the ball of hell crystals in her hand. Yang Dingtian said, how many hell crystals are there in this one ball? Chapter 645. How many hell magic crystals are there in this round? Yang Dingtian asked, full of expectation. Dishi Bien's beautiful eyes condensed a ray of light, which then poured into the pile of hell magic crystals. After a quarter of an hour, she slowly closed her eyes and let them rest for a moment before saying, 153 blue crystals and 2,852 white crystals, which is equivalent to more than 400 blue crystals, more than 40 yellow crystals, 4 green crystals, and less than half a purple crystal. Then, how is this harvest? Yang Dingtian asked. It's extremely abundant. You can fight it once, and it'll take me a few days. Dishi Bien said. Yang Dingtian said, in other words, if we clear another 200 caves, we'll be able to gather a golden hell magic crystal? Dishi Bien nodded. Yang Dingtian calculated that the 2 of them would need 2 golden hell magic crystals. They would need to sweep through 400 to 500 Shura caves. Every time they swept through a cave, they would need to recover their Xian Qi and the time they took to walk. It would take them more than 3 hours. If they didn't sleep or rest, they would need a total of 1,500 hours, which was a total of 60 days. However, there were only 20 days left before the netherworld ghost flames bloomed. There didn't seem to be enough time. Yang Dingtian told Dishi Bien about this worry. Dishi Bien looked at him and said, the hell magic crystals we hunt now are used to attract high-level hell beasts. Purple hell magic crystals can attract red hell beasts. We need to kill 10 red hell beasts and condense them into a golden hell magic crystal. Oh, so it's like this? Yang Dingtian said, why didn't you say so earlier? I thought you were stealing from me just now. Dishi Bien stared at Yang Dingtian but didn't say anything. How do we refine hell magic crystals? Do we use Shen fire? Yang Dingtian asked. I don't have Shen fire. Dishi Bien said. Yang Dingtian suddenly remembered that this woman didn't have Shen fire, but she broke through to 4-star martial grandmaster at the age of 28. Holy shit. Only spirit wizards can refine hell magic crystals. Dishi Bien said, hell magic crystals are the energy condensed after a normal person dies. Departed spirits were the souls of those who had died and were filled with resentment, unable to reincarnate. Therefore, only sorcerers can purify the energy of hell. Then you're not a wizard spiritualist? Yang Dingtian said. That's why my refining speed is faster, Dishi Bien said. After that, the soul of the ancestor of Dishi family inside her body suddenly drilled into this pile of hell magic crystals. Instantly, the magical crystal began to shrink. Gradually, it turned from white to blue, and then from blue to yellow. In the end, the pair of magic crystals turned into 4 floating green lights. Do you really want me to take care of them? You were the one who hunted them, Dishi Bien said. Of course, Yang Dingtian said. That's good. Dishi Bien put the 4 green hell magic crystals into the inner skull box. Then, do we have to hunt 10 purple hell magic crystals to attract 10 red hell shura? Yang Dingtian asked. 10 is not enough, we need about 20. Dishi Bien said, because many times, the ones that will be attracted might still be the green hell shura. 20 purple hell magic crystals were enough to repeat the hunt 50 times, which would take about 5 to 6 days. The 2 of them needed golden hell magic crystals, which would take about 10 days. This wasn't too difficult for Yang Dingtian. At this moment, Yang Dingtian asked, Miss Dishi, I've calculated carefully. With your speed, even 20 purple hell magic crystals would be hard to collect. If you hunt alone, you'll need at least half a year to collect 20 purple hell magic crystals. Dishi Bien said. Then you only came to the ghost hell region at this time. Wouldn't it be impossible to complete the mission and obtain the netherworld ghost flame? Yang Dingtian asked. Dishi Bien said. Then why didn't you come earlier? Yang Dingon said, why did you wait until a month before the mysterious flame bloomed? Because I wasn't feeling well. Dishi Bien said. Een flame burning your body? Yang Dingtian asked. Dishi Bien said. Yang Dingtian was silent for a moment before saying, Miss Dishi, you should know that I have the 9 yang profound veins. If you didn't obtain the netherworld ghost flame, I could have saved your life. Dishi Bien said. You have mysophobia and can't let anyone touch you. Then I want to know, if someone touched you, how would you react? Yang Dingtian asked. Vomiting, twitching, and then suffocating. Dishi Bien said. Why don't I try to touch you? Yang Dingtian said, I'm not afraid to tell you the truth. I once had a girl I loved. She was the same as you and couldn't touch any man. I was an exception. Oh. Dishi Bien said, you were an exception with her, but not with me. You were standing closer to me just now. My pores are starting to close up. Really? Then I'll try. Yang Dingtian walked closer to Dishi Bien. Immediately, Dishi Bien felt as though she had been electrocuted. Yang Dingtian could clearly see the fine hairs on the back of her neck standing up, and all her pores were closed. Subsequently, her entire body started to twitch slightly, and she opened her small mouth to gasp for breath. In less than a minute, Dishi Bien flew to a safe distance. Yang Dingtian was completely speechless. He frowned and said, Miss, this is an illness. You need to be treated. Then, Dishi Bien started to lead Yang Dingtian to sweep through the Shura caves one by one. Suddenly, the hell beasts in these caves were in big trouble. Dishi Bien slaughtered all the hell beasts on the way to the entrance of the cave. After arriving at the Abyss Cave, Dishi Bien released a handful of blue magic crystals, after which, thousands of hell beasts madly rushed out, desperately devouring these blue magic crystals. Then, Yang Dingtian's devil sky-splitting lightning crazily struck. In other hunting, these hell beasts could still escape, but after being hit by the lightning, their bodies twitched and they couldn't run at all. After 2 or 3 minutes, these several thousand hell beasts were all smashed to pieces after being hit by a few dozen lightning bolts. Then, several thousand white and a few blue mana crystals flew into the sky. Dishi Bien quickly gathered them all and used the shortest amount of time to refine them into green mana crystals. Yang Dingtian did some calculations. From the beginning to the end of the hunting process, including the refining time, it took a total of 2.5 hours. This was the second wave of attacks. After getting used to it, the speed would probably be faster. Sure enough, after the two became more familiar with each other, their coordination became more and more tacit. Thus, their speed became faster and faster. The 10th wave only needed 1.5 hours. However, their speed was already incomparably fast. Yang Dingtian didn't even have time to chat. A day and a night passed. Yang Dingtian had just finished the 11th wave of attacks. Dishi Bien extracted 5 purple hell magic crystals in total, and added with the purple hell magic crystal she had hunted herself, she now had 6 in total. At this rate, she would be able to hunt 40 to 50 purple mana crystals in 7 or 8 days. At this time, Dishi Bien's thoughts were slightly complicated. She had worked hard for more than 10 days to gather 1 purple mana crystal, but Yang Dingtian had collected 5 purple mana crystals in a day. Right? You said that Wu Yoming's group has so many people. Can they be faster than us? Yang Dingtian asked. No, Dishi Bien said. They weren't as fast as Yang Dingtian, but Wu Yoming's group had too many experts. Completing the task wouldn't be a problem. Actually, there's another group. Do you know? Yang Dingtian asked. I know. Dishi Bien said, I smelled an extremely powerful energy field from dozens of miles away, so I immediately distanced myself. As long as he's there, I won't go within 50 miles of him. Are you afraid of him? Yang Dingtian asked. I'm not afraid, because that's his hunting ground. Dishi Bien said, the energy aura he releases covers 50 miles, warning anyone not to enter his hunting ground. Otherwise, they will be attacked by him. I see. Yang Dingtian said, then do you know who he is? I don't. Dishi Bien said. He's the young master of the evil ways Dongli Grassland, and the current Prime Minister of the Snakeman Empire. His position in the evil ways is second only to Prince Li Ming. Yang Dingtian said. Who is Li Ming? Dishi Bian asked. Yang Dingtian was speechless. Li Ming is the young master of the Temple of Annihilation, the disciple of the Demon King Wentian. What is the Temple of Annihilation? Who is the Demon King Wentian? Dishi Bian asked. Yang Dingtian looked seriously into Dishi Bian's eyes and said, Miss, tell me honestly, are you playing with me? I'm not playing with you. Dishi Bian said, I only know one of the people outside, and that is Wu Lingzi. Later, there was you, and then there was Wu Yuming. Yang Dingtian's heart was extremely complicated. This girl is really a blank piece of paper. Then do you know about the Tiando League? Yang Dingtian asked. I know. Dishi Bian said, my emperor's tomb is one of the 9 gates of the Tiando League. Then do you know that I am the leader of the Tiando League? Yang Dingtian asked. Dishi Bian showed a puzzled expression. You can be the leader of the Tiando League? Yang Dingtian almost vomited blood. Miss, what do you mean by that expression? Can't a grandmaster be the leader of the Tiando League? I really am. Yang Dingtian said. Oh, then I believe you. Dishi Bian said. Then will you obey my orders? Yang Dingtian asked. Dishi Bian said bluntly. Your emperor's tomb is also one of the 9 gates of the Tiando League. Yang Dingtian said. It's not like I want to join it. Dishi Bian said. Yang Dingtian thought for a while and said, then if Wu Yuming and I fight for the Tiando League leader, who will you support? Dishi Bian said. Yang Dingnan was immediately overwhelmed by the favor and asked, why? Because he wants to kill me. Dishi Bian said. Wow, this reason is really straightforward. Then if one day I want to fight with Wu Yuming, will you help me? Yang Dingtian asked. Dishi Bian shook her head and said, if he doesn't come to kill me, I won't provoke him. Hey, he wants to kill you. Don't you want to take revenge? Yang Dingtian said. He didn't kill me. Dishi Bian said, I'll just avoid him in the future. You're really useless. Yang Dingtian said speechlessly, then if your cultivation surpasses his, will you kill him? Dishi Bian said. Yang Dingtian asked. It's too troublesome. Dishi Bian said. Yang Dingtian was about to spit out another mouthful of blood. Then Yang Dingtian tried to organize his words and said, then if one day evil ways want to destroy the world, I will save the world. If I want to save the world, will you help me? Dishi Bian shook her head and said, no. Why? Yang Dingtian, evil ways can kill the entire world. Countless innocent people will die. Dishi Bian lowered her eyes and said, I also want to feel sad. I also want to stand up against a common enemy, but I can't. I can't care about them. Then Auntie Lung is your only family. Do you care about her? Do you love her? Yang Dingtian asked and then stared directly at Dishi Bian. Dishi Bian seemed to be a little fearful of Yang Dingtian's gaze and said, love? She was very guilty when she said this. My God, you don't love at all. You don't even love yourself, so you definitely won't love anyone else. Yang Dingtian was speechless. I'm sorry, Dishi Bian said in a low voice. You know how to feel guilty. You can still be saved. Yang Dingtian sighed. After being scolded by Yang Dingtian, Dishi Bian also felt that she was guilty. She lowered her head and pondered. Girl, I'm facing you now. If I want to take off your clothes, touch you and sleep with you, will you hate me and kill me? Yang Dingtian asked. Without waiting for Yang Dingtian to finish, Dishi Bian flew back dozens of meters and looked at Yang Dingtian warily. I'm just hypothesizing. I didn't do that. Yang Dingtian said. I may kill you, but I won't hate you. Dishi Bian said. But I want to destroy your chastity. Yang Dingtian said. I don't have chastity. Dishi Bian said. You're still a virgin. How can you not have chastity? Yang Dingtian said. A virgin is a virgin. Chastity is chastity. They have nothing to do with each other. Dishi Bian said seriously, I won't let anyone touch me, so what's the use of chastity to me? It seems to make sense. Yang Dingtian said, no, This is a ridiculous theory. For example, if you take off your clothes while taking a bath and I peek at you, will you be angry and kill me? Dishi Bien thought for a while, then nodded and said, yes. See, this is chastity. Yang Ding Tian said. No, this is shame. Dishi Bien said, if I peek at you while you're taking a bath, will you be angry? No, I'll welcome you. Yang Ding Tian said. That's because you don't have any sense of shame. Dishi Bien said. Yang Ding Tian spat out another mouthful of blood. After that, although the two of them were extremely skilled in their cooperation, it was difficult for them to increase their speed. They basically maintained one wave for an hour and a half, and most of the time was spent hurrying. But even so, they were still able to harvest about 8 purple magic crystals every day. Thus, after 6 days, Yang Ding Tian had hunted 49 purple magic crystals. Adding the ones from before, he had a total of 54 purple magic crystals. Of course, the low-level hell beasts here were extremely unlucky. 6-digit numbers of hell beasts were destroyed by Yang Dingtian's devil sky-splitting lightning. Without a doubt, Yang Dingtian had become the biggest butcher in the history of the Ghost Hell region. The 7th day, after Yang Dingtian and Dishi Bien had fully recovered their profound qi. We have enough magic crystals to attract high-level hell beasts. Next, we'll go hunt the Red Shura tribe. Dishi Bien said, they are all at the Grandmaster level and live in the depths of the Ghost Hell region. Moreover, we don't have a map of the caves in the southern region, so we'll have to take risks one by one. Yang Dingtian nodded and said, then, are all the high-level Shura caves in the eastern region marked? Dishi Bien said, therefore, we can find the least dangerous cave to hunt. However, we'll meet Wu Yuming if we do that. Is there a big difference between dangerous and not dangerous? Yang Dingtian asked. Very big. Dishi Bien said, some high-level Shura beasts are solitary creatures, so they'll be the only ones in the entire cave. Some of them live in groups, and there will be thousands or even tens of thousands of them, ranging from low level to high level. If you accidentally enter such a cave, it'll be hard to predict your life or death. Damned Wu Yuming. Yang Dingtian said angrily. Moreover, even solitary Shura beasts have different attributes. Dishi Bien said, if you meet one with a special attribute, you'll be dead. What kind of special attributes do they have? Yang Dingtian asked. Invisibility, charm, teleportation, poison, etc. Dishi Bien said, of course, there are even more terrifying situations. If you use a purple magic crystal to lure out a golden Shura tribe, you'll definitely die. A golden Shura tribe would be a half-saint tribe, and they'd definitely die. Yang Dingtian's hair stood on end. It sounded really scary. No wonder people said they shouldn't look for the ghost hell flame unless they were at the Grandmaster level. Yang Dingtian and Dishi Bien had to kill 20 red Shura tribes to refine 2 golden magic crystals and enter the Ghost Hell City to participate in the Ghost Hell Flame Feast. If these 20 were all ordinary Grandmaster level red Shura tribes, Yang Dingtian didn't believe he'd be so lucky. If they were ordinary Grandmaster level red Shura tribes, could you kill them? Yang Dingtian asked. If they were solitary and ordinary, I could kill them, Dishi Bien said. What if they lived in groups? Yang Dingtian asked. I don't know, Dishi Bien said bleakly. Then let's go. Yang Dingtian said, even if it's the gates of hell, we'll have to give it a try. Then Yang Dingtian and Dishi Bien quickly went deeper. In the beginning, to be safe, the two didn't go too deep. 300 miles away from the Ghost Hell City, they found a cave. They hoped that this was a low-level red Shura tribe that lived alone. As the two went deeper, they didn't find a single Shura tribe. This is a good sign, right? Yang Dingtian said, there isn't a single Shura tribe on the way, and there isn't even a guard at the entrance. Does this mean that this is a solitary Shura tribe? Yes, it's very likely, Dishi Bien said. Yang Dingtian was overjoyed. Then the two continued to go deeper, 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 deeper. 10,000 meters, 20,000 meters, 30,000 meters, 40,000 meters, 50,000 meters. Yang Dingtian's heart turned cold. They didn't find a single Shura tribe. Moreover, they went deeper and deeper, as if there was no bottom. This wasn't a good feeling. It was so deep that he couldn't see the bottom. He kept feeling that there was a great danger below. Yang Dingtian instinctively moved closer to Dishibian. Whoosh! Dishibian seemed to have eyes on the back of his head. He jumped back a dozen meters as if he was frightened. Hey, come closer. You won't get pregnant, Yang Dingtian said angrily. I'm sorry, Dishibian apologized. Sigh, any man who stays with you for more than 3 days will lose all his confidence, Yang Dingtian said. Does a man's confidence have to be built on a woman? Dishibian asked. Confidence in a man is half of a career and half of a woman's confidence, Yang Dingtian said. Well, in fact, I like you. Dishibian gritted his teeth and said painfully. Thank you for your selfless consolation and self-sacrifice, but don't force yourself to say things that you don't mean, Yang Dingtian said. Oh, Dishibian sighed in relief. Yang Dingtian spat out another mouthful of blood. For the first time, he had the urge to draw his sword and hack this beautiful woman to death. Thank the heavens! No matter how deep the cave was, there would always be an end. After going more than 70,000 meters down the cave. Finally, they reached the end of the Shura cave. This was another piece of good news. The cave at the end of the cave was very small. It was only about the size of a basketball court. This meant that this high-level Shura was more likely to live alone. After all, there couldn't be too many Shura living in such a small place, right? Yang Dingtian told him his conclusion. Dishibian gave him confirmation. Yang Dingtian felt even more relieved. What should I do after you summon this red Shura? Yang Dingtian asked. Just stand on the side and watch, Dishibian said. Hey, please take my pride into consideration, Yang Dingtian said. Then you can just hit it a few times? Dishibian casually said the truth, but after seeing Yang Dingtian's murderous gaze, she quickly changed her words. Hit it as hard as you can and release as much energy as you can. Then she lowered her voice and said, Of course, your Grandmaster-level attack is really not worth mentioning in front of a Grandmaster-level Shura. Okay, you can summon it, Yang Dingtian said unhappily. Dishibian looked at him apologetically. Then, she took out a purple hell magic crystal and slowly released it in the air above the abyss. Yang Dingtian began to pray in his heart. God of Chaos, please protect me. I hope it's an ordinary Shura living alone, and a low-level Grandmaster level one. Please, please. The whoosh 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 whoosh, countless Azuras from hell poured out of the abyss devil magma in a vast and mighty manner. There was a blood-red one, a bunch of purple ones, and a large wave of green ones. The lowest level among them was yellow. Moreover, there were more of them every time they met before, but each of them was very small. Shura of Hell had two extremes. The bigger they were, the stronger they were, and the smaller they were, the stronger they were. Looking at the thousands of Shura of Hell staring at the two of them, Yang Dingtian looked at Dishibian speechlessly and said bitterly, Girl, you're so unlucky. Did you wash your hands when you pee? Chapter 646. When facing over 10,000 hell beasts, Dishibian heard Yang Dingtian's complaints and only had one sentence to say. Should we run? Can you outrun Shura? Yang Dingtian said, You keep an eye on that Grandmaster-level red hell beast. I'll take care of the remaining 10,000. Hearing Yang Dingtian's bold words, Dishibian couldn't help but be startled. However, this girl had one advantage, and that was that she wasn't afraid of death. Therefore, she wouldn't abandon Yang Dingtian and run away. Of course, she had a second advantage, and that was that she was very straightforward. Therefore, after hearing Yang Dingtian's words, she directly attacked that red Grandmaster-level hell beast. She really threw 10,000 hell beasts to Yang Dingtian. Wow, you really trust me. Yang Dingtian wanted to cry but had no tears. Sure enough, the remaining 10,000 hell beasts were like a lion picking on a lion. They didn't dare to provoke Dishibian, and all of them crazily pounced on Yang Dingtian. Fuck, do you think I'm easy to bully? Yang Dingtian was furious. Then he suddenly covered himself with an energy barrier. Then he used his left hand to release the Demon Spirit Demon Fire immobilization technique. Of course, There were 10,000 hell beasts in front of him. Just those above the martial mystic level were innumerable. Therefore, Yang Dingtian didn't dare to have any expectations about how many hell beasts he could immobilize. Swish! An incomparably beautiful scene appeared. They were all immobilized. Except for that red Grandmaster level hell beast, the rest of them were all immobilized. This was too exaggerated, too outrageous. This demon spirit demon fire was too heaven-defying. As long as their cultivation was lower than his, they were all immobilized. Dishi Bien, who was next to him, was completely stunned. She forgot to attack and stared blankly. Bang! That red Grandmaster level hell beast gave her a fierce blow. Fortunately, Dishi Bien's ancestor martial spirit blocked it. Otherwise, Dishi Bien would have been seriously injured and vomited blood. Hey, can you focus on the game? Yang Dingtian said unhappily, I know I'm awesome, but this is a crucial moment. Don't get distracted. Oh, I'm sorry, Dishi Bien said. In fact, Yang Dingtian was also shocked by himself. His devil spirit demon fire was too heaven-defying. It could actually freeze over 10,000 hell beasts. However, the 10 leading purple hell beasts were about to break free from the immobilization spell. As such, Yang Dingtian hurriedly released the million spirit demon flames primal chaos body with his right hand and poured in 40% of his profound energy. Then he released the demon spirit demon fire's chaotic body with his right hand and poured in 40% of his Xian Qi. Whoosh whoosh, the two mystic flames suddenly flew to the center of the countless hell beasts, and then violently collided with them. Boom! A blinding white light that was countless times brighter than the sun. Then, a huge lightning ball suddenly exploded. Pa! The lightning that soared into the sky suddenly exploded among the countless hell beasts, and instantly struck their bodies. Then, Yang Dingtian waited for the bountiful results, and waited for Dishi Bien's astonished look. However, whoosh 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 whoosh. Indeed, countless hell beasts were scared out of their wits and fell from the sky. However, not even a quarter of them died. The remaining 80% of the hell beasts trembled for a while, and then crazily pounced toward Yang Dingtian. Yang Dingtian had underestimated his opponent. This mystic flame lightning had used up 80% of his profound energy, and he thought it would be enough to kill most of the hell beasts. Who knew, however, this was normal. One had to know that this place was a few hundred miles away from the Netherworld Ghost City, and the hell beasts here were much stronger than the undead creatures outside. Yang Dingtian was already considered strong to be able to kill more than 2,000 low-level hell beasts. Then, Yang Dingtian looked on helplessly as the remaining 8,000 to 9,000 hell beasts pounced towards him. Bang 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 bang, countless hell beasts spat out blue light at Yang Dingtian. In almost a moment, Yang Dingtian's energy barrier was broken. Subsequently, countless hell beasts flooded over like a tide and drowned Yang Dingtian. Then, Yang Dingtian saw 10 purple hell beasts pouncing toward Yang Dingtian ferociously. At this moment, Yang Dingtian was finally able to see clearly that these hell beasts looked very similar to bats. However, these bats were very small and had a human face, which caused people to tremble in fear. After these 10 purple human-faced bats broke through the energy barrier, they instantly launched their first wave of attacks toward Yang Dingtian. Whoosh 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 whoosh, Yang Dingtian felt as if he had been struck by lightning, and he instantly spat out blood. However, even though he was spitting out blood, the sword in his hand still stabbed out like lightning. Damn it, he did not even manage to stab a single one. These human-faced bats were simply too fast. In a short period of time, Yang Dingtian was hit countless times, and his entire body was on the brink of death. However, he was very curious as to why he did not die. But soon, he understood that it was because he still had the ring of protection on his body, which could resist attacks of the same level as his cultivation. Otherwise, he would have died long ago. And the biggest reason was that although there were more than 10,000 human-faced bats, even if they surrounded him layer by layer, only a small portion of them could hit him. Of course, if Yang Dingtian allowed himself to be attacked like this, it was only a matter of time before he died. In less than 2 minutes, he would be dead. To kill the thief, first kill the king. Yang Dingtian immediately changed his strategy and focused on killing. Whoosh! His left hand used the immobilization technique to freeze a Grandmaster-level hell human-faced bat, and his right hand stabbed out with the sword. The human-faced bat was small and incomparably agile. It was impossible to stab it. However, with the immobilization technique, it was different. Yang Dingtian could stab it with his eyes closed. The human-faced bat's body was impenetrable. However, in front of Yang Dingtian's near-emperor-grade soul sword, it was nothing. Therefore, Yang Dingtian could easily pierce through it in an instant. As a result, the next thing was much easier. Withstanding the attacks of hundreds of bats, he kept vomiting blood. His left hand used the immobilization technique and his right hand pierced through with the sword. Swish, 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 swish. In less than 10 seconds, more than 10 purple hell human-faced bats were killed. As a result, the pressure on Yang Dingtian was greatly reduced. Although it was not good to be attacked by hundreds of martial saints, at least he would not die. Next, Yang Dingtian would kill a large number of bats, and then the soul sword would sweep across. Swish, 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 swish. Every time Yang Dingtian's sword slashed, a large wave of hell human-faced bats would be killed. Swish, 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 swish. Yang Dingtian crazily slashed out. Under the near-emperor-grade soul sword's abnormal sharpness, countless hell beasts were smashed into pieces and turned into hell magic crystals. Swish, 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 swish. Kill, 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 kill. Yang Dingtian was completely crazy. The more he killed, the easier it became. Because of the guardian ring, these low-level hell beasts were no longer a threat. Just as Yang Dingtian was killing to his heart's content, suddenly, Yang Dingtian's eyes lit up. Because all the remaining hell beasts had escaped in an instant and crazily drilled into the abyss magic magma. Of course, there was only one reason for them to escape, and that was that their king was dead. That blood-red hell human-faced bat king was killed by Dishi Bian, and her martial spirit, Yang Dingtian, who had survived the disaster, was covered in blood and was in a sorry state. Dishi Bian, on the other hand, was as beautiful as jade, wearing white clothes that were whiter than snow. There were no flaws on her body. Facing such unfair treatment, Yang Dingtian gritted his teeth and said, I'm not going to team up with you. You're a woman who cheats her teammates. Looking at the sorry state Yang Dingtian, whose face was full of blood, Dishi Bian finally could not help but laugh. Then she immediately covered her mouth. The women of the Dishi clan could not laugh. Once they did, they would be frivolous. You still have the nerve to laugh. I was almost killed by you. Yang Dingtian said. You're so powerful. Dishi Bian said. Being praised by such a beauty, Yang Dingtian felt good and his mood improved a lot. At this moment, he had completely exhausted his Xian Qi. He had to quickly recover his Xian Qi. He slightly shook his body to shake off his own blood and the blood of the hell human-faced bat. Then he sat down to recover his Xian Qi and said, Collect the hell magic crystals and report to me. Yang Dingtian gritted his teeth. In the end, he was not willing to use the holy water pills. He really did not have much left. He only swallowed a few 8th or 9th grade healing pills and used his Xian Qi to heal himself. After all, he was only half dead. It would be a waste to use the holy water pills. After a full 8 hours, Yang Dingtian opened his eyes and saw Dishi Bian staring at him. What are you looking at? How much did we get? Yang Dingtian asked. You killed 10 purple hell beasts, 110 green hell beasts, and 500 yellow hell beasts. Dishi Bian said, so, you got 2.5 red hell magic crystals in total. Plus the red Shura beasts I killed, we have 3.5 in total. In other words, I got more than you? Yang Dingtian said. Yes, that's why I said you were powerful. Dishi Bian said carelessly. Yang Dingtian felt that there was no sense of achievement in fighting with a woman who did not care about winning. However, this was still good news. They needed 20 hell magic crystals in total. Now that they had entered a cave, they had 3.5. Therefore, even a person like Dishi Bian who did not care, felt very happy. Have you rested well? Dishi Bian asked. Almost. Thank you for your concern. Yang Dingtian said. Then let's go and take down the next Shura cave. Dishi Bian said. Yang Dingtian gritted his teeth. So, she did not care about him at all. 6 hours later, Dishi Bien and Yang Dingtian finally found the next cave and walked in. Here, there was still no Shura beasts behind the entrance. Moreover, it was getting deeper and deeper. 50,000 meters, 60,000 meters, 70,000 meters, 80,000 meters, 90,000 meters. They went all the way to 90,000 meters, but there was still no end. There was not a single Shura beast on the way. Yang Dingtian was scared again. The last Shura cave was only 70,000 meters, and it was already so terrifying. This time, there was still no end at 90,000 meters. It was obvious how powerful this cave was. After going 100,000 meters and still not seeing the end, Yang Dingtian could not help but say, "Hey, girl, let's go out and find the next cave." "Are you scared?" Dishi Bien asked. "Yes, I'm scared," Yang Dingtian said. "Then you go out." "I'll go alone," Dishi Bien said. Yang Dingtian gritted his teeth and followed. After a long time, Dishi Bien asked, "You always say fuck. What does that mean?" "It means fuck," Yang Dingtian said unhappily. Dishi Bien was silent for a moment, and then said, "Why don't you go out?" "Can't stand my rudeness?" Yang Dingtian asked. "No, I think you might die if you think about such things at a time like this," Dishi Bien said seriously. Yang Dingtian's eyes were full of tears. He gritted his teeth and said, "Fuck." Thankfully, after reaching 100,000 meters, the cave finally reached the end. This was an incomparably huge abyssal cave, no less than 10,000 square meters, and several hundred meters high. The abyssal magic magma below was crazily surging. It felt like it could hold 100,000 infernal beasts. Yang Dingtian's hair stood on end and he said, "Sister Bien, why don't we go to the next cave?" Dishi Bien said directly, "But you can go out. So if I don't come out in an hour, it means I'm dead. I'll give you the infernal magic crystals I have." "I know you're not trying to goad me." Yang Dingtian looked at her speechlessly, but I still fell for it. Then Yang Dingtian took a deep breath and said, "Then, start the summoning. But I'll say the ugly words first. If it's really dangerous, don't blame me for going invisible." "Okay, I won't blame you," Dishi Bien said. "Quite a number of Shura have undead eyes, so it's useless for you to go invisible." "Thank you for your comfort," Yang Dingtian said angrily. "Then hurry up." Dishi Bien immediately took out an amethyst magic crystal and held it in her hand. Yang Dingtian began to pray again. "God Chaos, I hope this time it's a very ordinary, solitary, low-level red Shura. Please, please." Dishi Bien glanced at Yang Dingtian and shook her head. Although she didn't know, she felt that it was wrong for someone like Yang Dingtian to be the master of the Tiando League. Then, she was about to release the amethyst magic crystal. "Why don't we go to the next cave?" Yang Dingtian said. Dishi Bien directly released the amethyst magic crystal above the abyss. The rumble. The sky began to shake and the earth began to shake. The entire huge cave began to tremble violently, huge cracks appeared, and countless boulders fell one after another. Then, the entire abyss magic magma began to boil and roll violently. Yang Dingtian had a deep feeling that something was wrong, and he felt waves of malice coming from the bottom of the abyss. Bang! Then, a black thing suddenly jumped out of the abyss. Yang Dingtian stared blankly, his hair standing on end, and the hair on his neck standing up. After a long time, Yang Dingtian was stunned. Just you?" Sure enough, it was alone. There were no attendants. It was just a hellish demonic beast, and it was also red in color. Yang Dingtian's prayer seemed to have come true. There was only one red hell demon beast in such a big cave. But what was this thing? Hell earthworm? It didn't seem to have any characteristics, not even eyes. It was quite disgusting. Its body wasn't big either. At most, it was 12 meters long and half a meter thick. It looked like an enlarged version of an earthworm. Of course, this was still big, but compared to such a huge cave, it was extremely small. Yang Dingtian couldn't help but say, "You live in such a big cave with such a small body, you're really extravagant." However, Yang Dingtian soon saw that something was wrong. Because this thing was splitting. One split into two. Two of them split into four. Four of them split into eight. This wasn't much. Others would get smaller the more they split, but it would get bigger the more it split. When there was one, it was only a dozen meters long. When there were two, it became over 30 meters. When there were four, it became over 70 meters. When there were eight, it became 150 meters long and over 10 meters thick. Yang Dingtian's hair all over his body, and his hair, stood up. 8 earthworms that were more than 150 meters long and more than 10 meters thick surrounded them. The key was that on each head, there was a blood-red light. This meant that these were 8 Grandmaster-level hell beasts. Of course, this meant 8 red hell crystals, but it also meant death. Fighting 8 Grandmasters was something that only Zhu Qingzhu could do. Right now, Yang Dingtian and Dishibian were not even a fraction of Zhu Qingzhu. Yang Dingtian looked at Dishibian sadly and said, "We're going to die because of you?" Dishibian bit his lip and said in a low voice, "Turn invisible and run." This sentence sounded very warm, but in fact it was very scary. This meant that Dishibian felt that if they didn't run, they would definitely die. Yang Dingtian was very receptive to good advice. He suddenly grabbed Dishibian's hand and instantly turned invisible. Then he used all his strength to run away crazily. After Dishibian's hand was grabbed by Yang Dingtian, he twitched as if he had been electrocuted. Wretch. Then he felt nauseous and wanted to vomit. Fuck, am I that disgusting? Yang Dingtian was furious. Why are you twitching at this time? Therefore, Yang Dingtian had no choice but to hug Dishibian's delicate body and run crazily. Dishibian couldn't stand being grabbed by Yang Dingtian. After being hugged by Yang Dingtian, he directly trembled, rolled his eyes, and fainted, unconscious. This woman's obsession with cleanliness was already incurable. Yang Dingtian couldn't care less about her and ran crazily like this. Dishibian said that a considerable number of Hell Shura had undead eyes and could see Yang Dingtian's invisibility mystic skill. Unfortunately, the 8 terrifying earthworms in front of him were one of them. There was really no justice. They didn't even have eyes, but they could see Yang Dingtian's invisibility. Yang Dingtian's running speed was definitely more than 100 kilometers per hour. However, these 8 terrifying things were even faster and were about to catch up in the blink of an eye. Now, Dishibian, this little girl, was so disgusted by Yang Dingtian that she fainted. Once caught up, it was definitely a dead end. Now, even if Yang Dingtian wanted to wake up Naga Shuang, it was too late. Because Shuang was very sleepy, it would take a long time to wake her up. By the time she woke up, Yang Dingtian's bones would be gone. There was no other way. Yang Dingtian immediately reached into Dishibian's skeleton box, grabbed a handful of hell magic crystals and scattered them behind. Sure enough, it slowed down the speed of the 8 monsters, and they frantically fought over the hell magic crystals. However, Yang Dingtian clearly saw a red and a purple magic crystal. His heart ached so much that it was about to bleed. Yang Dingtian ran wildly, madly, faster and faster, faster and faster. In the end, he directly pierced up with his sword. 20 minutes later, Yang Dingtian crazily rushed out of the ground with Dishibian in his arms and finally escaped the crypt. After paying the price of a red hell magic crystal and a purple hell magic crystal, Yang Dingtian finally escaped the clutches of the demons. Yang Dingtian couldn't help but howl loudly, and then he was about to throw Dishibian out. This woman was very light and had ice skin and jade bones. Well, these were all praises. However, at this moment, she was convulsing and her whole body was stiff as a dead person. Even if she had ice skin and jade bones, even if she was a peerless beauty, her bones were still hard. It was very tiring to carry her like this. Just as Yang Dingtian was about to throw her out and scold her, he suddenly stopped. Bang 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 bang. 8 huge earthworms suddenly rushed out and surrounded Yang Dingtian. Above each of their heads was a blood-red light. Fuck, after eating my hell magic crystal, you still won't let me go? Then Yang Dingtian found that it was not only these 8 earthworms that were staring at him. There was also a large wave of undead approaching. Thousands of them. A few of them were blood red, a lot of them were purple, and there were countless green ones. Yang Dingtian escaped from the cave with great difficulty, escaped from the 8 red Shura clansmen, and came to the surface. Then he found that not only was he strangled by 8 Shura clansmen, but he was also besieged by tens of thousands of high undead. Oh my god! Yang Dingtian fiercely slapped Dishibian's leg. It's all your fault. Chapter 647. Looking at the current situation, he was afraid that he would be scared to death even in his dreams. Surrounded by 8 huge red Shura hell beasts, and then surrounded by countless undead outside. There were really countless of them. Yang Dingtian saw that there were more than 10 red undead. Now, he really couldn't be any more dead. After Yang Dingtian finished beating up Dishibian, he quickly put her on the ground and then quickly retreated 3 feet. After Dishibian regained her mobility, the first thing she did was not to denounce Yang Dingtian, but to release her ancestor martial spirit. Then, this saint-level Dishi ancestor martial spirit easily controlled more than 10 blood-red Grandmaster-level undead. Then, an incomparably strange scene appeared. These Grandmaster-level undead were originally rushing madly towards Yang Dingtian. After being controlled, they immediately changed their direction and rushed ferociously towards the 8 red Shura beasts that were newly installed by the earthworms. After the 10 blood-red undead rushed over, the countless undead behind them also rushed madly. In an instant, the 8 red Shura hell beasts were surrounded in a flash. An incomparably fierce battle began. Then Yang Dingtian, who had been madly chased before, was completely ignored. The whole ground was completely filled with earth-shattering fighting. Tens of thousands of undead, like crazy devils, rushed forward one after another, madly rushing towards the 8 hell beasts. The attacks of the high undead were also very terrifying. They directly spat out undead arrows or terrible corpse poison. The attacks of the low undead, on the other hand, were very, very primitive and simple. It was just a naked pile of undead. Like countless cannon fodder, they crashed their bodies into the 8 huge hell beasts, and then were instantly smashed into pieces. This scene was really incomparably gorgeous. Countless undead, like meteors, turned into half-lights and directly shot into the huge bodies of the hell beasts. In this way, the whole battlefield was filled with murderous killing. Although these 8 hell beasts were very powerful, they could not withstand the siege of tens of thousands of undead, not to mention the 10 Grandmaster-level undead. After a short while, countless livor mortis spots appeared on their indestructible bodies. Piece by piece, they became stiff. Following that, more and more livor mortis appeared. Finally, the bodies of the 8 red hell beasts were covered in livor mortis. Then, they were completely frozen in place, unable to move. Then, all the undead stopped attacking. Dishibian withdrew his ancestor martial spirit, and the tens of thousands of undead spirits instantly ran away. Thus, on the huge ground, only Yang Dingtian and the other 8 hellish beasts were left. It was unknown if they were dead or alive. These 8 huge earthworm-like hell beasts were like 8 huge pillars on the ground, reaching straight into the sky and not moving at all. Hey, do you think they're dead? Yang Dingtian asked. Probably not dead, Dishibian said. Since it's not dead, why didn't your undead helpers help us kill it? They ran away before they finished their job, Yang Dingtian said. That's probably all the undead can do, Dishibian said. Then what should we do next? Yang Dingtian asked. I don't know. Why don't you try slashing them with your sword and see what happens? Dishibian said. Why don't you go? Yang Dingtian said. They look so disgusting, Dishibian said. Are they as disgusting as when I hugged you just now? Yang Dingtian asked. No, Dishibian said. Yang Dingtian didn't say anything else. He directly pulled out his sword and slashed at a huge hell beast that had already solidified. Crash! In an instant, the solidified hell beast was smashed into pieces and died completely. A red hell magic crystal floated into the air. Ah, so simple? Afterward, Yang Dingtian swung his sword a few more times and shattered the remaining 7 solidified hell beasts into pieces. Then, 7 red hell magic crystals floated into the air. Yang Dingtian was completely stunned. There was such a good thing? Yang Dingtian had just thrown away a red hell magic crystal and a handful of purple hell magic crystals to block the pursuit of 8 hell beasts. Who knew that he would directly get 8 red hell magic crystals? This was too simple. He thought that he would definitely die, but in the end, not only did he not die, but he also got 8 hell magic crystals without any effort. First, he was overjoyed, then he was sad, and then he was ecstatic. This experience of ups and downs was really too exciting. Yang Dingtian's legs went soft, and he sat directly on the ground. Just now, he really thought that he was going to die. Surrounded by 8 Grandmaster-level hell beasts and countless undead, he was definitely going to die. Dishibian was still awesome. He had a heaven-defying martial soul. Although in battle, he could only release the same energy as Dishibian at most. But controlling undead was amazing. A saint-level ancestor's soul could control any undead below the half-step saint level. Therefore, not only did Yang Dingtian and Li Wuyo not die, but they were also able to obtain 8 red hell magic crystals with ease. Having a good ancestor really made a difference. Yang Dingtian handed the 8 hell magic crystals to Dishibian and then said, "Sister Bien, since the undead you control is so powerful, then it's simple. You can directly control a few dozen Grandmaster-level undead to enter the cave with us, and then kill the Shura beasts inside." Dishibian shook his head and said, "No, the undead won't follow us into the cave. The undead are above ground, and the Shura are below ground. They don't interfere with each other." The reason why the undead killed the Shura beasts this time was because the Shura beasts invaded their territory. And even so, they didn't kill the 8 hell beasts in the end. That's right, the undead didn't kill the Shura beasts in the end. Because the undead monarch and the Shura monarch had an agreement. Then why did these 8 earthworms come to the surface? Yang Dingtian asked. Dishibian said, "These aren't earthworms, they're Shura Inyang beasts." Shura Inyang beasts? Yang Dingtian said, "They look so stupid, how can they have such a grand name?" "Because they don't need to mate and can reproduce on their own," Dishibian said. "How do they reproduce?" Yang Dingtian asked. "Just like what we saw just now, they split themselves, and when the time is up, 1 becomes 2, 2 becomes 4. Dishibian said, "The reason why they rush to the surface is that they have no brains, and are the most stupid Shura beasts. If they were other Shura beasts, they would rather die than rush to the surface, and they wouldn't be fooled by your hell magic crystals. They would kill us first, and then divide the magic crystals." Yang Dingtian clicked his tongue and said, "So those 8 were 3 generations of the same body. You mean we won't encounter such a good thing again?" "Yes," Dishibian said. Then, she took out 10 red hell magic crystals, summoned her ancestor's martial spirit again, closed her beautiful eyes, and started refining. Refining the golden hell magic crystals was different from before. After the ancestor's soul of the Dishi family entered the 10 red hell magic crystals, they immediately released an incomparably bright light. The 10 red hell magic crystals floated in the air, forming a pentagram. Then, strands of red light drifted out of the hell magic crystals, condensing in the center of the pentagram. Bit by bit, they condensed. When the red reached the extreme, it was black at first, then the black color began to shine, and finally turned golden. When the 10 red hell magic crystals completely disappeared, the golden hell magic crystal in the center appeared. It was different from the hell magic crystals from before. Even the red hell mana crystal was like a firefly, it was only a kind of energy light and didn't have any substance. As for the golden hell crystal, it was a solid crystal. Of course, this didn't count for anything. The key point was that it was a small skeleton. A golden, transparent little skeleton. It was magnificent, but also seemed mysterious and terrifying. "Do you want to take a look?" Dishibian said, and then handed over the golden hell magic crystal. Yang Dingtian was about to take it, but Dishibian's expression suddenly changed, and he directly threw it over. Obviously, he remembered the hellish feeling from before. Yang Dingtian was speechless, and he gently stroked the golden hell magic crystal. He didn't feel anything when he touched it, nor did he feel any energy aura. It wasn't even as strong as the red hell magic crystal. Who would have known that this thing represented the energy of a half-step sage? With this thing, he could pretend to be a half-step sage Shura and enter the Netherworld Ghost City to participate in the Ghost Fire Feast. Sister Bien, I have a question for you, Yang Dingtian said. Yes. Dishi Bien frowned, as if he wasn't satisfied with being called Sister Bien, but he didn't say anything. I grabbed your hand and hugged you. Why didn't you scold me? You didn't react at all. If it were someone else, they would have already drawn their sword and killed me, Yang Dingtian said. You did it to save me, I know that, Dishi Bien said. But I also hit you in that place, Yang Dingtian said. Dishi Bien's body trembled, and her beautiful eyes became dizzy. She suddenly opened her mouth, feeling nauseous. Because she recalled that feeling of touch. I was about to forget. Why did you mention it? Dishi Bien covered her mouth and said in pain. Yang Dingun was in even more pain. His self-esteem had suffered a devastating blow. The girl in front of him was so beautiful, hugging and holding hands should have been incomparably wonderful things. But in the end, her reaction was to directly convulse in disgust. If such a terrible reaction happened 2 or 3 more times, Yang Dingtian would really be traumatized. Men who stayed with her for too long would probably become impotent. Dishi Bien suddenly looked at Yang Dingtian, and her voice became incomparably gentle. Yang Dingun was flattered, and looking at her beautiful face, his heart skipped a beat, and said, What is it? Thank you for saving me. Dishi Bien's voice had never been so gentle, and her big eyes were staring at Yang Dingtian. Those clear eyes, that kind of beautiful face, that kind of pure and refined, was enough to melt the heart of any man. You're welcome. Yang Dingtian's heart thumped. Then, Dishi Bien's voice became even gentler. She looked at Yang Dingtian and said gently, But, if this kind of situation happens again, can you not save me and let me die, okay? Yang Dingun shook his head and said, How can I do that? I'm a man, how can I abandon you? But, I'd rather be bitten to death by the Shura than be touched by you. That kind of feeling is too scary. Dishi Bien said gently and shamefully. Yang Dingtian's tears almost burst out. He had lived for more than 20 years, and he had never suffered such a big blow. But, she was not deliberately trying to hurt him, she was absolutely speaking the truth. Yang Dingtian did not say anything. He directly pulled out his sword and pointed at her. Girl, I won't kill you, but let me stab you twice to vent my anger, otherwise I will die. I'm sorry, Dishi Bien said. I know it's wrong to say this, but I'm telling the truth. Give me the golden hell magic crystal. Yang Dingtian stretched out his hand. Dishi Bien directly placed the incomparably precious golden hell magic crystal in Yang Dingtian's hand. You've dealt a blow to me, and I want to take revenge on you. Therefore, I'm going to take this golden bead crystal and fly far away. I'm going to enter the Netherworld Ghost City alone and abandon you, Yang Dingtian said ruthlessly. Dishi Bien's beautiful eyes widened. She was stunned for a while, then she nodded and said, Then okay. Then take it. Then, Yang Dingtian's tears really fell. My fuck your lungs. After that, Yang Dingtian deliberately sulked, not saying a word to Dishi Bien. In fact, Yang Dingtian directly walked in front, deliberately letting Dishi Bien walk behind. At first, Dishi Bien was leading the way, but later, she found that Yang Dingtian always walked in front of her, so she simply let Yang Dingtian walk in front. Just like that, Yang Dingtian silently walked in front of her, looking for the Shura cave. With a straight face, he warned Dishi Bien that he was angry and wouldn't say a word to her. Just like that, they walked for more than 100 miles before finally seeing the entrance of a cave. Yang Dingtian went inside. Dishi Bien said from behind, Yang Dingun, this cave. Shut up, I don't want to talk to you. Yang Dingtian said. Oh. Dishi Bien replied, then followed Yang Dingtian into the cave. There was a Shura guarding the entrance of the cave, but it was a mere yellow Shura. Yang Dingtian easily destroyed it with lightning. Then they continued to go deeper. After entering, Yang Dingtian constantly encountered the infernal Azura race, but the highest grade was only green in color. Yang Dingtian killed to his heart's content and vented his anger. Just like that, they went deeper, deeper, and deeper. This cave was very shallow, only about 30,000 meters deep. Soon they reached the bottom, and the cave at the bottom was very small, about the size of a basketball court. Even the abyss was not that big. This cave was guarded by Shura, but their level was very low. Moreover, the abyss cave was very small, so it was basically an ordinary low-level Shura. Yang Dingtian firmly believed that. "Give me an amethyst crystal," Yang Dingtian said in an annoyed tone. Dishi Bian carefully took out an amethyst crystal and put it in Yang Dingtian's hand even more carefully, as if he was worried that any of his actions would anger Yang Dingtian, because he looked very unhappy. Yang Dingtian took the amethyst crystal and was about to throw it out. Yang Dingtian, "Actually?" Dishi Bian said. "Okay, you don't have to say anything, I forgive you." Yang Dingtian then threw the amethyst crystal out. The amethyst crystal floated in the air above the abyss, releasing an incomparably powerful suction force. Sure enough, the abyss below began to churn, but the movement was very small. Then, 2 horns appeared on the surface of the abyss, and then an enchanting and beautiful face appeared. Wow, what a beautiful and enchanting face. Then, a demon-like body appeared on the surface of the abyss. This figure was really hot, no less enchanting than a vixen. She was only wearing a simple leather breastplate and leather shorts. There was also a pair of wings on her back. Then, she didn't have human horns, but hooves. A seductive woman with a demon-like figure, horns on her head, wings, and hooves appeared. After floating up, she didn't swallow the amethyst crystal. Instead, she smiled charmingly at Yang Dingtian. What kind of Shura was this? Yang Dingtian was puzzled. However, Yang Dingtian noticed that there was a red light above her head, and this red light was very faint. This meant that this was a low-level Grandmaster Shura. There were no underlings around her, which meant that she lived alone. Yang Dingtian said to Dishi Bian, "Look, this is luck. What did you summon?" It was either more than 10,000 underlings or 8 disgusting Grandmaster Yin-Yang beasts. "Look at me. Look at me. I summoned such a beautiful, weak, and adorable Azura. And it's even a low-level Grandmaster. Look at your luck, look at my luck." Hearing Yang Dingtian scolding Dishi Bian, the Shura suddenly burst into laughter. Her beautiful face looked very cute and charming. Seeing the beautiful and cute face of this Shura, Yang Dingtian's heart softened. He said to Dishi Bian, "Anyway, there are so many Shura here, and this one is so cute. Why don't we not kill her and let her go?" "How can I do that?" the beautiful Shura said in a delicate voice. Her voice was really pleasant to hear. "You can talk? Then I can't bear to kill you." Yang Dingtian said in surprise, "Then I'll give you this purple hell crystal as a gift for our first meeting. We'll take our leave first." "That won't do," the Azura said in a coquettish voice. "I want the golden demonic crystals you have. Moreover, I haven't eaten human flesh for 200 years. I'm very greedy." Then, the beautiful Shura slowly opened her small mouth. In an instant, incomparably ferocious and terrifying fangs fiercely grew out. Her beautiful face became incomparably ferocious and terrifying. Then, the light above her head became redder and redder, redder and redder, and when it reached the extreme, it became golden. Golden. Yes, golden. This was a semi-holy Shura. This time, they were really dead, really dead. Dishi Bian said in a trembling voice, This is a man-eating Rakshasa. The most powerful and terrifying Shura. Why didn't you say so earlier?" Yang Dingtian roared. "You didn't let me talk." Dishi Bian. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.